64%. Chapter 321 Hunting and Harvest. Looking at Qin Xiaoxiao's happy and expectant eyes, Mu Ningxie did not reject her daughter's kindness. He leaned down and took a small bite. Immediately, a smile that overshadowed everything appeared on his face, and he said, "It's really delicious." "Yes, I didn't lie to my mother," the little girl said happily after hearing Mu Ningxue's words. "Okay, Mom has it too, but Dad took a dozen of them." Qin Tian came up at this time. "Lift the wooden basket and let Mu Ningxie pick an ice cream. Mu Ningxie is also welcome. Take a bag of torches from inside and open it." Looking at the dark and colorless torch, although the appearance is not as good as her chow lezi, but the figure of the torch is obviously much bigger than her ice cream. After Qin Xiaoxiao looked at the ice cream in her hand, she said to Mu Ningxie flatteringly, "Mom, let me take a bite of yours too, let me taste the taste of 050. Mu Ningxie didn't refuse either. Smiling, he brought the newly disassembled torch to the little girl's mouth. Then Qin Xiaoxiao's mouth opened wide. In one bite, 1/3 of the chocolate and cream on the entire torch was bitten off. Mu Ningxue's smile froze on her face. As for Qin Tian, he was also dumbfounded by this scene. In the studio, a group of viewers were so greedy by the ice cream that they wanted to lie down on the virtual screen and lick it. Qin Tian's family of 3 ate ice cream. Qin Tian once again called Li Yao and her 2 attendants to set off. A group of 6 people headed towards the low hill in the center of the island. I gave Li Yao and the 3 of them an ice cream each. After walking for about an hour, the 6 people came to the outskirts of the hill forest. When did Qin Xiaoxiao see such a beautiful scene of emerald green forests and hills full of nature? It was an excitement along the way. From time to time, I surround my parents and chatter non-stop. From time to time, I ran to the front to enjoy the colorful sea of flowers and all kinds of small animals. When the 6 people came to the hill through the surrounding jungle, everyone saw the pheasants perched on some low treetops not far away at a glance. "Wow, Daddy, those big birds are so beautiful." Seeing those colorful pheasants, Qin Xiaoxiao said with amazement and longing on her face. For small animals with brighter colors, children generally have little resistance. "Little boy, those are not birds, those are pheasants, you can also call them pheasants. Why?" Qin Tian was teaching his daughter some science knowledge points, while looking at the pheasants that were almost as big as the Earth star peacocks. "I can't help feeling in my heart. Good guy, the birds and beasts in World of Warships are just different. It is really the biggest tube full. In Earth star, a pheasant in the wild probably weighs a little over 3 catties at most. Available in World of Warships, each of these pheasants seem to weigh 8 or 9 catties or even more than 10 catties. This gap is really not that big. It's not a bird, so Dad, can we catch one and take it back to raise?" Qin Xiaoxiao looked at Qin Tian expectantly and said. Qin Tian was helpless, looked at Li Yao, and asked in a low voice, "Captain Li, how are you? Are you sure you can catch one alive?" The other party was born in a family of ancient warriors. There must be some real kung fu in the body. And Li Yao also likes Qin Xiaoxiao, an eccentric and extremely cute little girl. So after hearing this question, immediately handed the gun in his hand to Zhang Zhengyi behind him. He moved his joints and said, "Don't worry, Captain, just leave it to me." Finished. I didn't see her making any moves in advance. Then the figure of the whole person suddenly disappeared in place like an afterimage. When Qin Tian quickly turned his head to look, Li Yao had already appeared behind those low treetops. He held a pheasant in each hand, and the rest were scared and fled in all directions. After a few short runs, there was no longer a pheasant around. "Wow, Li Yao Aunt is amazing." Qin Xiaoxiao saw the hand shown by the other party. Those beautiful big round eyes are full of surprise and envy. "Haha, Xiaoxiao wants to learn, and Aunt will teach you in the future. Xiaoxiao will definitely be better than Aunt." Li Yao was talking. While carrying 2 pheasants, he walked back. Qin Xiaoxiao immediately ran over. He stretched out his small hand and carefully touched the head of one of the pheasants. "No matter how you look at it, it looks like a bird." The little girl was puzzled. And Qin Tian thought it was troublesome. Simply synthesized a plastic woven bag. Throw in 2 pheasants directly. After the mouth was tied, Yan Bin carried it. Next to explore, Li Yao, Zhang Zhengyi and Yan Bin successively caught 2 wild ducks, dealt with a wild boar, 2 wild sheep and a wild ox weighing 1,000 catties. Seeing that it was almost noon, Qin Xiaoxiao and Mu Ningxie have almost played together. Qin Tian immediately decided to return. Anyway, this wave of them can be regarded as a bumper harvest. Father, why don't we fly back with a battleship? My mother and I summoned the battleship with the battleship mark, so why don't we fly back? Finished. Qin Xiaoxiao urged his battleship imprint to summon the phantom of the battleship. As a result, after summoning for a long time, there was no movement at all. Qin Xiaoxiao was immediately dumbfounded. Dad, what's going on here? Qin Tian laughed and said, the blue star we lived in before was a world developed by the will of the planet itself, which is equivalent to the will of the planet dug an extra basement secretly in the villa complex of the law of the universe. Although the basement is also in the villa complex, but it is not in the real estate registration of the law of the universe community. To put it bluntly, it is not recognized. The world we lived in before was like this. Although it really existed in this universe, it was actually not accepted by this digital universe. Therefore, the means that our planetary will can use in Blue Star are digitized by the universe here. It cannot be used in the regular world governed by laws. Quote. Qin Xiaoxiao nodded with a half-knowledge, then looked at 4.8 Qin Tian and said, anyway, the abilities that our world has are all restricted in this world, right? Qin Tian thought about it. That's roughly what it means. So he nodded. Seeing this, Qin Xiaoxiao immediately looked like a deflated ball. She originally wanted to control the phantom of the battleship to circle the sea a few times after going back, and enjoy the beauty of the ocean in this world of warships. But now he finds that the phantom of the battleship he is proud of cannot function in this world. This is a bit too cheating. There is no way. The 6 of them could only go back along the way they came. Ah Tian, in your words, wouldn't we God-favored ones suddenly become very weak in this world of warships? On the way, Mu Ningxie came to Qin Tian's side, as if thinking of something, she asked in a low voice with her eyebrows slightly frowned. 64%. Chapter 322 Sumptuous Feast, Mu Ningxue's speech. Facing Mu Ningxue's question, Qin Tian said a little funny, what? Could it be that you still want to come in and help me when I'm fighting with others? Unexpectedly, Mu Ningxie nodded seriously, and said, why not? I have also experienced many battles in Blue Star, and I already have actual combat experience. I will never hold you back. Qin Tian smiled and pinched her straight nose and said, silly girl, of course I'm not afraid that you will slow you down, but I just want to tell you that it's not necessary, and you can't help, because like I said, it is impossible for the will of the universe to allow the will of our planet to exploit this loophole. But why? Mu Ningxie was puzzled. Is this still a question? Qin Tian smiled and said, what's your fighting style like in Blue Star? Mu Ningxie responded naturally. Control the phantom of the battleship soaring into the sky, and if you find the target, just open fire, isn't it over? Qin Tian nodded, and asked, then what is the fighting style of World of Warships? Oh 6. Mu Ningxie thought about it carefully. Suddenly speechless. Qin Tian said with a smile, the World of Warships is based on data streams. It mainly depends on the talents of the chosen ones and the equipment of the warships. They are all about technology. You said that if you let the will of the planet live like flying into the sky and escaping from the ground, one day a large number of battleships take off directly to the target and bombard them wildly. Let's not go too far and say, there is no need for an aircraft carrier alone. Mu Ningxie nodded upon hearing this. Think about it as really like this. If the abilities of the favored ones are allowed to play casually in this world of warships, it is estimated that the aliens from the Twin Sauron civilization will have to kneel when they come. Don't worry, others don't know my current strength, don't you? When I break through the battleship into an aircraft carrier, I will occupy a better island and develop my own power. Maybe it won't be long before the warships you summon are no longer these ordinary battleships and aircraft carriers, but interstellar warships that can launch railguns at every turn and send attacks to outer space. Qin Tian briefly told Mu Ningxie about his plans and vision for the future. Mu Ningxie sighed and nodded. She felt a little disappointed that she couldn't help Qin Tian, since there is no way to use the warship Phantom to fly back with these prey. Those few people could only work harder and walk back on foot. Qin Tian gave Mu Ningxie 2 plastic woven bags containing pheasants and ducks. Mu Ningxie is not a wealthy daughter or a lady, so she has no objection to this kind of work. Although she and her daughter couldn't use the battleship Phantom in the imprint in World of Warships, the strengthening physique of their bodies was obviously greatly reduced. But after all, the foundation is still there. It is no problem to carry something 50 or 60 catties. Qin Tian grabbed the 700 or 800 catties wild boar carcass and directly carried it on his shoulders. Li Yao dragged 2 wild sheep. Zhang Zhengyi and Yan Bin were responsible for carrying the calf together. After the division of labor is clarified, the group of people did not stop at all along the way. Finally, all the prey were brought back at noon. Yu Dai and the others were stunned when they saw so many wild game. Qin Tian patted him on the shoulder and said, "Old Yu, let's have a big meal today, and I will leave the ingredients to you." The pheasant is made into a large plate of chicken, the duck is roasted and chopped into pieces, and the wild goat is made into small pieces. Skewer them into lamb kebabs, and as for the bison, give me a few slices from the loin and fry them into steaks. Immediately afterwards, Qin Tian explained the preparation of these ingredients to the other party carefully. There are grills and stoves to add to the taste and texture of food. Qin Tian believes that these dishes can never go wrong. It will definitely give the wife and daughter an unforgettable impression. And it is true. Not long after, Qin Tian took his wife and daughter with an orange in his left hand and an apple in his right hand to visit the Nemesis and Phoenix. Yu Dai asked Wen Zheng to call them for dinner. Qin Xiaoxiao and Mu Ningxie have long wanted to try the amethyst rice, a mutant rice grown by Qin Tian. In addition, what Qin Tian told him was to use those wild game to make delicacies that he hadn't eaten for a long time. Even Mu Ningxie showed a little desire. With a smile on his face, Qin Tian brought his wife and daughter to the restaurant of the goddess of Nemesis. Captains, madam, I saw two people coming. All the crew members present stood up, saluted and greeted the two with respectful expressions. This is what Elisa brought up. In her opinion, today is an important day when the captain's wife and daughter come in for one day a month. Then they, as employees, must show their best side. Mu Ningxie watched Qin Tian develop step by step from a small raft to the current situation of a battleship and an aircraft carrier. Naturally, she knew it was not easy for her own man. After Qin Tian casually nodded, Mu Ningxie showed a very warm smile to everyone, and said sincerely, "Thank you for being by my husband's side these days, and accompany him through every difficulty with all your heart. I believe that with your assistance, my husband will be able to climb to the top in the future, and I will live up to your dedicated assistance." Hearing these words from Mu Ningxie, Yu Haihai, Yao Lang, and Ma Yongganian, the crew who were earlier than Qin Tian, all showed smiles. These words can be said to go to 410 in their hearts. And Yu Dai, who is relatively old in qualifications, immediately replied politely, "The captain's wife is serious. If the captain hadn't saved us, we would have been feeding sharks in the sea long ago, not to mention the captain provided us with such a comfortable environment, and being able to work together under the command of the captain are the blessings we cultivated in our previous lives." Yao Lang also said from the side, "Captain's wife, don't worry, as long as we are here, the captain will never be harmed in the slightest." Mu Ningxie nodded with a smile and said, "Thank you. My wife said that Qin Tian, the captain, must not be able to dismantle the situation," and immediately said with a smile, "Our current achievements are indeed the result of everyone's hard work, and have gone through life and death again and again. Today's achievements, the meal will be our celebration banquet and reception banquet to celebrate another victory of ours. We also welcome these brothers and sisters on the Phoenix to join us. I believe that with the concerted efforts of everyone, our forces will be able to grow in the future. It will also get bigger and bigger, and life will get better and better." After Qin Tian finished speaking, Ma Yongganian and the others brought the food one by one. Amethyst rice, big plate chicken, kebabs, roast duck, fried steak and grilled pork chops. All dishes are the same. But the ones served to Qin Tian and the others are naturally the best parts and the most tender meat. 64%. Chapter 323. Don't call me dad, you can call me grandpa. Looking at the blink of an eye, a table full of delicious food was placed. Qin Xiaoxiao's eyes widened. Even living in a villa in this world. Eat some vegetables and sugar pies that she never dared to imagine before. But such a sumptuous meal still touches the blind spot in her little head. Wow, so many delicious things. Dad, can these be eaten casually? Qin Xiaoxiao looked at Qin Tian with sparkling eyes and asked. Of course, the food on this table is all ours, Xiaoxiao can eat whatever he wants. Qin Tian smiled and nodded. Then I want to eat this, and this. The little girl ordered lamb kebabs, big plate chicken and fried steak. Qin Tian smiled and scratched the tip of her nose. First put a few mutton skewers on the plate in front of Mu Ningxie, then put a few pieces of chicken and a piece of steak on the big plate and said, "Don't look, eat it quickly, or it will be cold in 10 minutes. In fact, Mu Ningxie has long been swallowed by this table of delicious food. After seeing Qin Tian put the food on her dinner plate, he smiled happily with crooked brows and eyes, and started eating with chopsticks. Qin Tian smiled faintly, and then began to torment his daughter again. Take the lamb skewers off the stick one by one, and then cut the steak into thin strips with a knife. After all this is done, he pushed the dinner plate in front of Qin Xiaoxiao, who couldn't wait. The little girl immediately picked up a piece of mutton with chopsticks and put it in her mouth. Just chewed twice. The little girl's eyes immediately brightened. Wow, Dad, this is too delicious. As she spoke, she buried her head in her mouth and began to eat. Qin Tian and Mu Ningxie watched this scene, although with a smile on his face. But there was unstoppable sadness in my heart. My daughter's childhood was really pitiful, suffering from the pain of nuclear radiation since childhood. Then there are all delicious, beautiful and fun things that I have never experienced. If Qin Tian hadn't suddenly obtained the qualifications of the God's chosen one, after awakening their talents, their mother and daughter were cured. Maybe not for many years. The little girl got sick and died. Qin Tian couldn't even imagine it. If in this world, my only blood died in my arms like that, can he bear that kind of heartbroken grief? Think here. The way he looked at his daughter became softer. Xiao, don't just eat meat, you have to eat rice too. Don't you want to taste the amethyst rice you planted a long time ago? Seeing that Qin Xiaoxiao has been eating the mutton skewers Qin Tian made for her, Mu Ningxie said helplessly. Oh, yes, meat is so delicious, I forgot. Qin Xiaoxiao stopped chewing, said a little naively. Then he hugged the wooden bowl and started to eat amethyst rice. Just the first bite, I couldn't stop eating the little girl. And in the live broadcast room, all the people of Yanlong Kingdom who watched this scene were about to cry. My God, the mutton skewers, large plate chicken, fried steak and grilled pork chops, feel the color is so good. Indeed, except for the nondescript roasted duck, the rest of the dishes are almost killing me. Woo-woo, my favorite big plate chicken. I used to go to the restaurant to order a big plate chicken once a week to reward myself, but now, I haven't eaten delicious big plate chicken for more than 3 years, I really want to eat. Who is not saying that? Alas, it is too happy to be the child of God Qin. Please, is there any big brother of the gods who came in and asked me, is God Qin still short of a son of 110 or 20 caddies? I think I can do it. Come on, can you be normal upstairs? Where's your face? Where's your self-esteem? You want to monopolize this kind of thing. You're so selfish. Gone. Let's go together. Let's go together. For these 5 dishes, let alone being called Dad, I am willing to be called Grandpa. No wonder everyone is spineless. Qin Tian really made this lunch too memorable. These 5 dishes were the favorites of many people in peaceful times. But since the fight with alien creatures, they have never eaten these delicious foods in the past 3 years. And now, looking at the familiar food with all the colors and flavors, the taste of these delicacies seemed to emerge from their mouths again. It's just that Qin Tian didn't know anything about these remarks in the live broadcast room. If he knew, he would probably shake his head and laugh silently. He didn't eat much at the moment. Most of the time, he was making food for his daughter and Mu Ningxie. A meal down, there was almost nothing left on the table. In the end, Bao Yuaner was accepted by Qin Tian. The next afternoon, because that nemesis needs to stay in the port to receive supplies on the island. So Qin Tian asked Yao Lang and Wei Chen to sail the Phoenix aircraft carrier around the sea. Until after the sun goes down, the family of 3 returned to the port. After another great dinner, Qin Tian asked Yu Dai to cook the remaining sheep, half pig and half cow, into various delicious cooked food. Then he took Mu Ningxie and Qin Xiaoxiao back to the S-class villa on the island. After picking 2 rooms that had never been occupied by people at first glance, I tidied them up a bit. The 2 coaxed Qin Xiaoxiao, who was tired all day, to sleep. Then he closed the door and quietly went back to another room. At this time, the live broadcast room has already been closed. Lonely men and widows. The temperature of the air in the room quickly starts to heat up. This night is destined to be a sleepless night. Early the next morning, the radiant Qin Tian hugged his daughter, who had just woken up, with one arm, and with the other hand pulled the radiant Mu Ningxie back to the boat. After a hearty breakfast, Qin Tian immediately asked Yu Dai and Wen Zheng to get off the boat with all kinds of grilled and steamed pork, beef, and mutton wooden plates made overnight, and sacks totaling 2,000 caddies of amethyst rice. A group of people came to the portal of the villa garage with big bags and small bags. As the time to return draws near, Qin Xiaoxiao cried so much that she didn't want to separate from Qin Tian. Mu Ningxie also wiped her eyes with the back of her hand from time to time. Li's little boy, I have to listen to my mother when I go back, and we can meet again next month. Qin Tian also hugged and coaxed his daughter with red eyes. Look at how much delicious food Dad asked you and Grandpa to make for you and Mom, as well as ice cream, by the way, and the pheasant you wanted. Take good care of it after you go back, and you will be its little master in the future. When you and your mother have almost eaten these foods, the next month will be almost here. Qin Tian said to Qin Xiaoxiao. But Xiaoxiao is reluctant to part with Dad. The little girl choked and said. Qin Tian hugged his daughter tightly, and said, Father is also reluctant to part with you and Mother, but the level of the teleportation gate on this island is too low now. Believe in Dad. One day in the future, Dad will definitely make a high-level teleportation the door, and then let you and your mother live in this world for several days. Really, Dad, you can't lie to me. Hear Qin Tian's words. Qin Xiaoxiao said with tears in her eyes. 64%. Chapter 324. Epic Large-Scale Breeding Ecological Cabin Part 1. How could I lie to you? Facing his daughter Qin's little question, Qin Tian immediately said to her daughter with a confident look, Believe in Dad. In the near future, the island occupied by Dad will definitely be upgraded to a place where you and Mom can live together for several days. Portal. The hook. The little girl stretched out her tender white hand, pouted and said to Qin Tian. Okay, hook. Qin Tian agrees. He also stretched out his big hand and pulled the hook with his daughter. Well, I believe in Dad. Then Dad, you must do it as soon as possible. You can't make me wait with Mom for too long. The sadness of the little girl who got Qin Tian's promise dissipated quickly. His attention was diverted to the moving pheasant tied in a woven bag. Seeing that the portal gradually began to emit a faint light, Qin Tian gently kissed Mu Ningxui's forehead. Facing the latter, he said, Take care of yourself and Xiaoxiao. I will solve the problem of the island as soon as possible. Mu Ningxie nodded upon hearing this. Take Qin Xiaoxiao from Qin Tian's hand. As the light released by the portal became stronger and stronger. Soon the golden light enveloped her, Qin Xiaoxiao and the surrounding space. Wait until the light dissipates. The mother and daughter have disappeared. All the supplies and food placed around disappeared at the same time as them. With the disappearance of weightlessness, when Mu Ningxie and Qin Xiaoxiao opened their eyes again in 083, he found that he had returned to the villa in the present world. And there is a golden light permeating their bodies. This is a protective measure that can protect them from any harm in a short period of time. It is one of the humanized manifestations of the will of the planet. Mom, can we see Dad again next month? In Mu Ningxui's arms, Qin Xiaoxiao asked in a low voice. Sure, since your father has promised you, he will definitely not break his promise. Mu Ningxie scratched the tip of her daughter's nose and said with certainty. Hee, that's good. Mom, put me down quickly. I want to see if Xiaohua is okay. Look, it doesn't move anymore. Could it be dead? Qin Xiaoxiao immediately became happy when she heard her mother's answer. But soon she found that the woven bag containing the pheasant fell to the ground motionless. Her little face was instantly filled with tension. Then struggled and jumped out of Mu Ningxui's arms. Grabbed the woven bag and prepared to tear it apart violently. Hey, stop, if you want to take it apart, go and take it apart. This is the ration that your father worked so hard to make for us. What if it was ruined by that pheasant? Mu Ningxie pointed to the other side of the living room and said, Ache. All right, Qin Xiaoxiao thinks about it too. There are so many delicious foods, you will eat them for a month. But it must not be destroyed. So carrying the woven bag with one hand, he walked to the other side of the living room very easily. And Mu Ningxie also began to place the cooked food on the ground in dozens of wooden trays in the refrigerator and freezer. Torn. At this time, only a tearing sound was heard. Immediately, the daughter's slightly crying voice sounded in the living room. Mom, Little Flower hasn't moved, Little Flower is really dead. Mu Ningxie hurried out of the kitchen upon hearing this. Come to the daughter in the living room. Sure enough, I saw the colorful and fat pheasant lying motionless on the ground. However, it has been greatly strengthened. Her 5 senses were also strengthened a lot, and she soon noticed the slight ups and downs of the pheasant's body on the ground. She quickly said to her daughter, Don't worry, Xiaohua is fine, she just fainted during the teleportation. Is that so? Qin Xiaoxiao was surprised when he heard this. Then what else? All right, don't touch it, let it recover after a while. After Mu Ningxie finished speaking, she went back to the kitchen to do her own business. During the period, I heard the cheers from my daughter saying that Shalwa woke up. She shook her head and didn't care, thinking, it would be nice to have a small animal as a playmate for her daughter at home. She hadn't heard her daughter laugh so happily at home for a long time. It's just that when she put all the cooked food she brought back into the freezer. When he came out of the living room to get those amethyst rice. But he found that the pheasant had already pecked open a bag of amethyst rice. He was eating with relish. Mu Ningxui's beautiful eyes widened immediately, and she asked Qin Xiaoxiao, what are you doing? How do you make him eat amethyst? Qin Xiaoxiao said with a pitiful look. I said not to let it eat, but it won't listen to me, so there's nothing I can do about it. Mu Ningxie rolled her eyes when she heard the words. This little girl really pissed her off. There is no way. Back in the real world, Qin Xiaoxiao recovered all his strength. I'm afraid it can easily push a passenger plane to walk on the runway. Still can't deal with this mere little pheasant. It was obvious that she was pampering her new pet. Mom, let's set aside a bag for Xiaohua as food. You see how delicious it is. I guess it is like us worms have to eat food brought from World of Warships to fill their stomachs. Qin Xiaoxiao used his trump card. She ran to Mu Ningxie, grabbed the latter's arm and shook it. Mu Ningxie lost her temper after being shaken. The one who could only be forced to surrender said angrily, all right, you are the one who is right, then leave this bag of amethyst rice as rations for it. Yeah, long live Mom, Mom is the best. Hearing that Mu Ningxie agreed. The little girl immediately jumped up happily. And Qin Tian sighed. After sighing in disappointment, he immediately adjusted his state. Looking at Sun Xiaoyang beside him, he asked, Xiaoyang, how is the progress of material transportation on the island? Captain, almost everything has been delivered, and it should be finished this morning. Sun Xiaoyang replied. Qin Tian nodded upon hearing this, and said, we'll leave here as soon as we're done. They have been on this island for a long time. If that David is willing to pay enough to ask for help, the rescuers called will definitely not be weak. After all, the strength of their Cyril family must be very clear to the other party as the commander-in-chief of the family. This can all be defeated. The reinforcements must at least be stronger than the Cyril family. So Qin Tian didn't want to waste too much energy on this insignificant island. Followed a group of people and soon returned to the port. After watching Sun Xiaoyang and the others go to the warehouse, Qin Tian then returned to the waiting room of the goddess of Nemesis. It quickly turned to a drawing from the inside. Epic level large-scale breeding ecological cabin blueprint rare. Take this drawing. He came to the kitchen soon. Seeing Yu Dai, he asked, Old Yu, do we still have a cabin of more than 150 square meters on our battleship? After hearing the words, Yu Dai thought for a while, then shook his head and said, there are no cabins above 150 square meters, and there seems to be a cabin of 100 to 40 square meters. After Qin Tian heard the words and thought for a while, he still nodded and said, 130 or 40 square meters is fine, that's all, take me there quickly. There is no ink mark on hearing the words in the sea. After wiping his hands, he quickly brought Qin Tian to a cabin. 64%. Chapter 325. Epic Large-Scale Breeding Ecological Cabin, Part 2. There have been lessons learned. This time, Yu Hai had already installed lights in this large cabin in advance. Turn on the lights. Qin Tian walked in and took a look. Although the area of this cabin is not as large as that of the Genesis planting cabin, but not by much, it should be enough to temporarily raise some 3 species of pheasant, wild boar and wild sheep. Think here. He immediately took out the epic level large-scale breeding ecological cabin blueprint, rare, and looked at it with divine detective technique. Item. Blueprint of epic large-scale breeding ecological cabin, rare. Quality. Purple. Area. More than 130 square meters. Production requirements. Ordinary wood 10,000, ordinary metal sheet 8,000, ordinary plastic 15,000. Efficacy. It can be used to make a breeding room that automatically adjusts the room temperature and ecological environment. Ordinary advancement. Low-quality wood 40,000, low-quality metal sheet 30,000, low-quality plastic 20,000, can be advanced into an orange legendary large-scale breeding ecological cabin. High-quality goods advanced. Ordinary wood 50,000, ordinary metal sheet 40,000, ordinary plastic 40,000, can be advanced into a red mythical large-scale breeding ecological cabin, buildable workers. Advanced advancement. 80,000 high-quality wood, 40,000 high-quality metal sheets, 50,000 high-quality plastics, which can be advanced into a colorful creation-level large-scale breeding ecological cabin, can be built. C-130 SQM and up on request. Qin Tian couldn't help but heaved a sigh of relief. So far so good. It seems that there is no problem getting some wild game from the islands and raising them at sea this time. Think here. Qin Tian selected Advanced on the blueprint without hesitation. Building a Genesis-level large-scale breeding ecological cabin needs to consume 80,000 high-quality wood, 40,000 high-quality metal sheets, and 50,000 high-quality plastics. Will the captain build it? Put up. Qin Tian nodded. With the drawing disappears. Soon the cabin resembled the one where the grow room was built. The wooden floor turned into dirt, covered with a layer of tender green grass. The whole piece of dirt land is surrounded by a strong and durable wooden fence at a glance. There is a clean road outside that only allows one person to pass. And at the edge of the muddy land surrounded by wooden fences, a clear stream emerges from the entrance, draws an S-bend in the breeding farm, flows to the edge of the muddy land opposite and disappears. This clear stream is actually a living water. The end is amazing. As for the wall, it is the same as the Genesis-level planting cabin, with blue Genesis-level organic moss that absorbs carbon dioxide, provides high-level oxygen and assists in the adjustment of the indoor ecological environment. An artificial sun in midair is exuding the same light and warmth as the sun. Captain, we are. Yu Dai looked at the scene in front of him, which was slightly different from the planting cabin, and asked curiously. It seemed to him that those wooden fences were used for keeping animals. Old Yu, this is a breeding farm. Qin Tian smiled and explained to the other party. I plan to get some chickens, pigs and sheep from the island to raise. Huh, doesn't that mean that we will be able to eat meat like chicken, pig, and sheep in the future? Yu Dai asked with light in his eyes. Qin Tian smiled and nodded. Regardless of the look of surprise on the other person's face. He directly used divine detective technique and looked towards the farm surrounded by wooden fences. Item. Genesis level large farm. Quality. Colorful. Area. 132 square meters. Efficacy. A farm with its own room temperature and ecological adjustment, where the poultry and livestock raised can quickly develop a sense of belonging, and speed up the growth cycle and reproduction cycle. Every 1,000 units of food consumed can promote the growth of high-quality and delicious tender grass for a week in the farm, and there is a small probability that rare grasses that promote the evolution of poultry and livestock can be grown. Introduction. A magical farm that feeds any poultry and livestock, and can obtain 300% extra healthy meat harvest when slaughtered. With sufficient photosynthesis, it can shorten the growth cycle of poultry and livestock by 55%. Watch this introduction. What else could Qin Tian say? Can only shout 666. Farms can actually get an extra 300% meat harvest when harvesting. Doesn't that mean that they slaughtered an 800 jin wild boar? Remove the skin and bones, at least you can harvest nearly 3,000 catties of pork. And that's not a big deal. Those tender grasses are amazing, and they actually have the effect of mythical black soil. It can promote the variation of poultry and livestock. Simply invincible. Then he used divine detective technique to subconsciously look at the running water stream that crossed the entire land with an S-curve. 0. Seeking flowers. 0. Item. Genesis grade spiritual spring water. Quality. Colorful. Efficacy. A miraculous spring water transformed by advanced energy improvement, unique to the creation level large-scale breeding ecological cabin. Drinking it can eliminate all diseases and prevent all diseases. Every 1,000 units of food consumed can flow for a week. Lingquan water. Eliminate and prevent all diseases. Qin Tian couldn't help but breathe heavily when he saw this. Is this water specially used to cure animal diseases? Or can it treat both human and animal diseases together? And prevent all diseases? This really made the veterinarian cry and the farmer ecstatic. And if this spiritual spring water can really cure all diseases, doesn't he just hold the key to a panacea? 0. This is a good thing that no amount of material can be exchanged for. At this moment, Qin Tian seemed to have seen countless supplies beckoning to him. But he still has to find someone to test the specific effect of this spring water someday. It is not possible to jump to conclusions for the time being. So after calming down, Qin Tian looked at those wooden fences again. He plans to raise chickens, sheep and pigs. These three kinds of animals must not be allowed to mix in it. So it needs to be separated by a wooden fence. He needs to see if the wooden fence can be transformed by consuming materials. Item. Genesis grade wooden fence. Quality. Colorful. Efficacy. A fence made of peculiar trees has a calming effect on all animals, and can improve the joy and happiness index of animals. Every 1,000 high-quality wood consumed can be expanded by 1 square meter. Seeing this wooden fence can not only calm and soothe the animals in captivity, but also improve the pleasure and happiness of the animals. Qin Tian was a little startled. What kind of tree is this? It's so against the sky. Shaking his head, he didn't think much about it. Seeing that high-quality wood is consumed, you can freely extend the wooden fence inside. Without further ado, Qin Tian immediately divided the entire farm into 3. 1 small, 2 big. The small ones are naturally prepared for pheasants. Almost the size of 2 large bedrooms. The remaining space is equally divided by the pig pen and the sheep pen. And he designed it so that the pigs, chickens, and sheep can all share the creation-level spiritual spring water. 65%. Chapter 326 Activate the Coastal Defense System, the countdown to the God-level Treasure Island. As for the bison, it's not that Qin Tian doesn't want to raise him. But the space is too small to be arranged. After all, I saw the size of those bison yesterday. Earthstar's normal bison size can only be regarded as a calf in those cattle herds. If this is brought back, in a few days it looks like an elephant. What should he do then? So Qin Tian could only eliminate the bison temporarily. After finishing these, he asked Rui to drive a Genesis-class J-31 stealth fighter over the island to pay more attention to the safety of the material transport team. And he brought Yu Dai, Ma Yongganian, Li Yao and her 2 younger brothers, as well as Yan Jian and Gao Goliang. A total of 8 people entered the island Chinese medicine again from day 1. Because they want to catch alive. So the 8 people didn't spend less effort this time. One morning, 8 people ran back and forth 3 times. A total of 9 pheasants with bright feathers and bright eyes were captured by 047. There are 3 half-sized wild boars and 3 wild sows. There are 12 wild goats with 3 males and 9 females. And that Genesis-grade wooden fence is worthy of being a taming artifact that can calm animals down and provide pleasure and happiness index. Those pheasants, wild boars, and wild sheep that had struggled along the way and had to take a lot of effort to control them. As long as it is put in the farm. Immediately, the tranquility struck as if I had returned to my own home, and then I began to take a walk in the new home leisurely. Especially those wild sheep, after eating the tender grass in the ground. Immediately, he stopped in place and began to eat without raising his head. Everyone watched this lively scene. There were also smiles on their faces. They also don't know how many caddies of meat these chickens, pigs and sheep will get when they are slaughtered. But there's one thing they're sure of. That is, as long as their captain can create a separate cabin for construction. The harvest will definitely not be low. It's time for lunch. Sun Xiaoyang and Tang Ming ran to Qin Tian. Tell him that all the supplies on the island have been transported to the battleship. As soon as Qin Tian heard it, he immediately opened the data backpack panel with a thought. I saw that the original more than 3.1 million units of high-quality timber has become more than 4.3 million units. More than 1.6 million high-quality metal sheets have also become more than 2.2 million. More than 2 million high-quality plastics have become more than 3.5 million. The materials including high-quality nails have changed from more than 60,000 to 870,000. As for other materials such as rags and stones, there has also been a significant increase. This made Qin Tian very satisfied. Immediately said to everyone, "Take a short rest after eating, and we will leave here immediately." "Yes, Captain." Everyone agrees to do so. Qin Tian, on the other hand, ate all the rice on his dinner plate in a hurry. Then I greeted Zula and the others. Then he brought Li Yao and the other 3 who had also finished their meal to the basement of the villa. Facing the island monument in the basement, Qin Tian directly chose to give up occupying it. After solving this problem, Qin Tian is not polite either. When it got on fire, David's entire S-level villa was set ablaze. Fact. Damn yellow-skinned monkey. That's an S-class villa. Why did he just order it for David? Oh, shit, I just informed David that Qin Tian is going to evacuate, and David is going to come back to take a look, but now the house has been burned down, and Song Nang is probably living in one of those small farmyards. Lost. Why? What's wrong with living in a small farmyard? It's not like I haven't lived in it before. It's good to be alive at this time. Could it be that he still thinks that our Cyril family is the previous Cyril? Although, in this world, the members of the Cyril family were half dead from the anger of Qin Tian. But they can't do anything about it. As for going to the Yanlong Empire to find Qin Tian's wife and daughter to take revenge, there was no such thought in their heads. Not to mention that there are still many alien creatures blocking the periphery of the Yanlong Empire. Even without these alien creatures, they also understand that they will not be Mu Ningshui's opponent. It can be seen from the way Mu Ningxue deals with the dark world. This woman is definitely the typical character who doesn't offend me, I won't offend. If someone offends me, I will fight back crazily. They don't want to find someone who abuses them and ruin themselves. So for this scene, they can only smash their teeth and swallow them in their stomachs. World of Warships. Here Qin Tian took Li Yao and the others back to the boat. He turned his head and looked in the direction of the island. I saw black smoke billowing from that S-class villa. The fire has completely engulfed it. Seeing this, Qin Tian nodded in satisfaction. Then he turned his head and asked if all the people on the boat had come up. After repeated confirmation, Qin Tian immediately gestured to Zula and the others in the control room. Zula understood instantly. Immediately afterwards, the Nemesis sounded a dull siren. Started to slowly move the battleship out of the harbor. Wei Chen and the others also controlled the Phoenix to whistle to respond. The two huge battleships slowly left the harbor one after the other. Go to the sea in the distance. Night, when the full moon hangs high. A battleship returned to Cyril Island with 2 cruisers, several destroyers, some frigates, and gunboats. After turning around to confirm that Qin Tian's warship really left, dozens of warships began to sail into the harbor and began to dock. David stepped off the battleship. Immediately ran to his villa. When you see that the burned blood is cleared, the remnants of luxury villas that have become ruins, David's eyes immediately turned red. Fake squid, Qin Tian, fake squid. He clenched his fists angrily, and let out an unwilling roar. After venting the anger in my heart, David looked at the island monument not far away. Then he walked over and bound the island monument without hesitation. Although the coordinates of the island have been leaked, but as the first heir of the Cyril family, he is somewhat confident in the strength of himself and his family. And he just successfully bound the island monument. The prompt sound of the will of the planet suddenly rang throughout the entire world of warships. It is detected that the number of common islands occupied by World of Warships exceeds 5.2 and exceeds 72, and the coastal defense system has been activated. God-level treasure islands have entered the countdown. 1 month later, 18 God-level treasure islands will appear in the World of Warships. Captains, please actively explore. With the sound of the planet's will, the sound fell. David was taken aback for a moment. But then he had a look of ecstasy on his face. It turned on the coastal defense system. And there is also news about the God-level treasure island. Whether it is a coastal defense system or a God-level treasure island, this is undoubtedly great news for him today. And at this moment, Qin Tian is after dinner. He had already fallen asleep comfortably on his wooden bed. Maybe it was because last night was too crazy. In addition, there is no day off today. Even when he heard the notification that someone had privately messaged him in his mind, he just rolled over and continued to sleep soundly. 65%. Chapter 327 Vanessa's Concern, God's Chosen's Hot Discussion. The next day. When the sun rises, after the live broadcast room has been opened. Only then did Qin Tian wake up. After getting up and taking a shower. He hadn't had time to eat breakfast yet. Suddenly, a private message notification sounded in my mind. Open it and have a look. A look of astonishment flashed across his eyes. I saw it in his private message interface. Except Vanessa, who is calling him at this moment. The rest of the people like Nangongla, Zhang Zongjun, Leng Lai and Cecily all sent him messages. Seeing that there are 8 or 9 or even more than 10 or 20 plus signs behind each of the avatars, Qin Tian was stunned. He first opened Vanessa's private chat interface. I saw that the message the other party sent him was, "God Qin, are you awake?" Qin Tian immediately sent a message back to the other party asking, "Just woke up for a while, what's the matter, Vanessa? I see that everyone sent me messages at night, including Cecily, what happened?" Oh 6. Within a few seconds, Vanessa sent a message. "God Qin, why did you sleep so early last night? Last night at around 11 o'clock, the will of the planet suddenly announced that our chosen ones had occupied 72 islands, so they activated a coastal defense system and announced after a month, there will be a God-level island." Qin Tian looked at this message. There was a hint of surprise in his eyes first. Occupies 72 islands. Coastal defense system. In the last life, this seems to happen next year, right? And after that, the god-level treasure island did not appear in the world. Could it be that he destroyed the Cyril family? That David and Clifford, the owner of another aircraft carrier, also discovered the island and successfully occupied it. Otherwise, how to explain this scene? But then, Qin Tian shook his head and put this matter behind him. Immediately there was a thick surprise. He doesn't care about the coastal defense system or anything. It is nothing more than that it will take a lot of effort to attack the islands of those wealthy capitalists. But he doesn't plan to find trouble with those big capitalists anytime soon. The materials for breaking through the aircraft carrier are almost ready. And today is the first day that his auction house time cooldown ends. Once the more than 2,000 units of the world boss leader Rebia King meat and the tens of thousands of caddies of amethyst rice are auctioned off. Materials must be very rich. What really excited him was the matter of the god-level treasure island. He originally thought that it would take another 2 to 3 months, 3 to 4 months before the god-level treasure island would be released. But I didn't expect it to take another month to appear. To him, this is really dozing off and giving him a pillow. What is he most lacking now? Don't ask. That must be the time. Now he needs to quickly upgrade the aircraft carrier, occupy the treasure island and develop his own power. Only then will he be able to fortify the Zarare civilization that may come at any time. Think here. He immediately sent a message to Vanessa. Very good. In this way, if you want to capture the island in the future, you will face even greater challenges. Vanessa replied almost instantly. Yes, God Qin, I sent you a message with Cecily to tell you that if possible, don't occupy the island of the Cyril family. With the coastal defense system, it can be said that the capital is liberated more than 1/3 of the patrol fleet of the Han clan. If that fellow David pays a little price at this time and gathers a fleet of several rich capitals to surround you, it will not be a fleet of thousands of warships, but probably another siege with tens of thousands of warships at that time. God Qin, will you be sure to win? See the information sent by the other party. Qin Tian couldn't help feeling warm in his heart. Immediately replied, tens of thousands of warships. Then I will definitely not be able to fight, but it doesn't matter, because I have given up. Don't worry, instead of wasting my energy and supplies on this insignificant island, it's better to wait a month and get it directly a god-level treasure island to let oneself in one step. Seeing this, Vanessa let out a long sigh of relief. Send a message. That's good, God Qin, your choice is very correct. However, even if you occupy the god-level treasure island, you still have to prevent them from coming to trouble you. I heard from Cecily that the coordinates of the god-level treasure island seem to be one for each of those wealthy families, and some even have two. If you have successfully occupied, then your coordinates will definitely be exposed soon, and there must be a lot of big capitalists who will trouble you by then. After reading this passage, Qin Tian replied with a smile. Don't worry, I have already expected this result, and I already have a countermeasure in my heart. By the way, I have a batch of rice that I cultivated and planted by myself. I will give it to you and Cecily for 2,000 caddies. You two can share it equally. Send message. Qin Tian immediately initiated a transaction request to the other party. After seeing the agreement over there, he immediately sent over the 2,000 caddies of amethyst rice that he had already prepared. Wow, what a beautiful rice. It looks delicious. Does God Qin have a name for this rice? Vanessa asked curiously. Yes, it's called amethyst rice. That's enough. I won't talk to you anymore. I'm going to start an auction today to stock up some supplies to prepare for the god-level treasure island in a month's time. Okay, God Qin, then you should be busy. As the two ended their private messages, Qin Tian sent messages to Nangongla, Lengli 480, Cecily and others one by one. We chatted for a while. After appeasing everyone's concern for him, Qin Tian went to the restaurant to fill his stomach. Then he first went to the planting cabin and the breeding cabin to take a look. After finding no problem, he immediately came to the cabin where the amethyst rice was stored. Then opened the world chat channel and watch it. He needs to observe the direction of everyone's wind. Oh, I bought it. Is this a gift from the will of the planet? The epic M16RC 406mm cannon, does anyone want it? It can hit a distance of over 40,000 in an instant on the island. I'm really envious of those gods chosen who occupy the islands. With the coastal defense system, how much can it reduce the burden on your fleet? Hey, brothers, does anyone know the secret of the god-level treasure island? I heard from the gossip that the god-level treasure island seems to be very beneficial for battleships to upgrade aircraft carriers. Can anyone who knows it give me some information? Why do you think so much? Do you think your battleship can be upgraded to a battleship? At first glance, the god-level treasure island is prepared for Qin God or those big powers of the capitalist clan. We fools should stop fantasizing. That's right, I'm a cruiser now, and I've been collecting materials for breaking through battleships for half a year. I can't imagine how much longer it will take for battleships to break through aircraft carriers. 65%. Chapter 328 Preparing for the auction, a golden treasure chest comes up. Looking at the World Chat channel, chat content scrolled up quickly one after another. It proves that the two topics of coastal defense system and god-level treasure island are indeed very hot at this time. Seeing that there are a lot of people following the chat channel right now. So Qin Tian immediately sent a message on it. Qin Tian at everyone. Brothers, I got some meat from the world boss leader Rebia King, and some high-quality amethyst rice cultivated by myself, both of which can strengthen our god-chosen and our own sailors. If you are interested in your physique, you can go to the auction house to take a look at it at noon. Finish sending this message. Qin Tian opened the trading market. I made an appointment for auction hall 1 at 12 o'clock noon. And as soon as this message from Qin Tian was sent out, the content in the chat channel immediately began to change. What? Qin Tian actually has the meat of the world boss. Didn't Cecily and that Vanessa have been auctioned once before? And that Cole. 1. Upstairs, haven't you watched Qin Shen's live broadcast before? Cole, who collected the world boss, betrayed the Moore family, and was escorted by Qin Shen all the way to Cecily and Vanessa. In order to express his gratitude, Cecily Goddess Seely and the others must offer some world boss meat as a reward. Don't talk nonsense upstairs. What do you mean by betraying the Moore family? At that time, I happened to watch the live broadcast of Cole. It was obviously a small executive of the Moore family who used his power for personal gain and wanted to profit from it, which caused Cole to flee. Oh, brother upstairs, tell me, what is going on? Does this still need to be said? That Cole escaped from death and risked his life to collect 12,000 units of king-level meat from the world boss. He originally wanted to contribute 8,000 units to the Moore family and keep 4,000 units for himself. The unit uses this to get ahead, but who knows that his immediate boss asks him to hand over 11,500 units of the world boss's meat, and only allows Cole to keep 500 units of king-level meat for himself. Who can stand it? Damn it, is it so dark? Then what do you think? Capital, you call it for nothing. Even a small executive is well versed in the way of blood-sucking. Damn, no wonder people want to defect. Let me go and I will defect too. Doesn't that mean that the meat of the boss in this world has been around for a long time? Will it stink when we buy it? Oh, I bought it. You are a newcomer upstairs. The meat of an elite sea beast can be kept at room temperature for a week without spoiling, let alone this kind of world boss king level meat that is refrigerated. Besides, how much do you think you can buy? Just 2,000 units of meat, and millions of people grab it. In the chat channel, people are discussing crazily. And Qin Tian went to the restaurant to have a hearty breakfast. Then came to the deck. Then at a glance, I saw a golden treasure chest quietly placed on the deck at the bow. This made Qin Tian's eyes brighten, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. In fact, ever since I got the mythical treasure chest picker, his battleship would automatically pick up a treasure chest or two every few days while sailing at sea. It's just that they are all green treasure chests. After opening, there are some poor supplies. So Qin Tian gradually didn't have much expectations for the mythical treasure chest pickup tool. But I didn't expect this mythical treasure chest picker to perform supernormally this time, and got him a golden treasure chest. This is no small surprise. Go to the golden treasure chest and grab the lid to open the treasure chest. Immediately, a series of beeps sounded. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the legendary Ku-330 coastal anti-ship missile blueprint ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the advanced Yanlong 4-wheel drive military off-road vehicle blueprint ×10. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the epic YL-4S air-to-air missile blueprint ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the blueprint of advanced AS Mengsing decoy bomb ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 fine wood. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the fine linen 5,000. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 fine metal pieces. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the excellent plastic 5,000. Looking at a large pile of materials and drawings on the deck, the corners of Qin Tian's mouth raised upwards involuntarily. For him now, these materials are nothing. What made him happy was naturally those few blueprints. Let's not talk about legendary Ku-330 coastal anti-ship missile blueprint and advanced Yanlong 4WD military off-road vehicle blueprint. These are all things that he needs to occupy the island, and the island he occupies needs to gain a firm foothold in World of Warships. The key is epic YL-4S air-to-air missile blueprint and advanced AS Manstar decoy bomb blueprint. This is definitely the good baby that Rui needs most at the moment. With these two weapons, the combat power of Narui's Genesis J-31 stealth fighter can be raised by several levels immediately. Anyway, I still have some top-quality sea beast teeth in my hand. Qin Tian picked up the epic level YL-4S air-to-air missile blueprint and looked at it. Item: Epic YL-4S air-to-air missile blueprint. Quality: purple. Production requirements: ordinary plastic 3000, ordinary metal sheet 3000, ordinary nail 2000, sea beast tooth 100. Efficacy: it can be used to make general-purpose YL-4S air-to-air missiles for purple epic fighters. Ordinary advancement: low-quality plastic 8000, low-quality metal sheet 4000, low-quality nails 3000, sea beast teeth 150 can be advanced to orange legendary YL-4 empty. High-quality goods advanced: ordinary plastic 10,000, ordinary metal sheet 8,000, ordinary nails 6,000, elite sea beast teeth 100, can be advanced into red mythical YL-4S air-to-air missile. Advanced advancement: 20,000 high-quality plastics, 15,000 high-quality metal sheets, 10,000 high-quality nails, 200 top-quality sea beast Li Dehao teeth, which can be advanced into colorful creation level YL-4S air-to-air missiles. Tut-tut. After reading the production requirements of this drawing, Qin Tian couldn't help but shook his head and clicked his tongue. It seems that the things on this aircraft carrier are much more expensive than the naval guns of ordinary battleships. The same epic quality. When Epic Class Mk73-203mm naval gun blueprint was manufacturing the Genesis class naval gun, the amount of high-quality materials such as plastics, metal sheets, and nails required is only 5 or 6,000. And the missile materials needed to make this fighter jet are directly 10,000 to 20,000, or 20,000 to 30,000. If there are no resources in hand, it is really impossible to support a better fighter. I looked at the Phoenix aircraft carrier obliquely behind. Qin Tian dispelled the thought of passing it for a while, and then his eyes immediately looked at another blueprint in his hand. Advanced AS Mengsing Decoy Bomb Blueprint. 65%. Chapter 329 Bait Bomb, Neglected Amethyst Rice. Whether it is for battleships or fighter jets, decoy bombs are undoubtedly an extremely important means of defense, especially for those chosen with high-quality, high-attack missiles like Qin Tian. A wave of bait bombs was shot out. It is possible to save one's life, or even turn defeat into victory to reverse the situation of the battle. Therefore, the drawings of decoy bombs are relatively rare in World of Warships. At this moment Qin Tian is holding the blueprint in his hand. With a faint smile on his face, he used the detective technique on the advanced AS Mengsing decoy bullet blueprint in his hand. Immediately, an advanced attribute panel appeared in front of his eyes. Item: Blueprint of Advanced AS Mengsing Decoy Bullet. Quality: blue. Production requirements: low-quality plastic 4000, low-quality metal sheet 2000, low-quality nails 2000, sea animal teeth 80. Efficacy: it can be used to make blue advanced general-purpose AS diffuse bait bombs. Ordinary advancement: low-quality plastic 7000, low-quality metal sheet 4000, low-quality nails 3000, sea beast teeth 150, can be advanced to purple epic AS diffuse star decoy bomb. Premium advances: ordinary plastic 6000, ordinary metal sheet 3000, ordinary nails 2000, elite sea beast teeth 80, can be advanced into orange legendary AS diffuse star decoy bombs. Advanced advancement: 6000 high-quality plastics, 4000 high-quality metal sheets, 3000 high-quality nails, 150 top-quality sea animal teeth, can be advanced to red mythical advanced $1 Mengsing 49B bait bomb. Universal. When grabbing this word, Qin Tian's eyes lit up. Doesn't that mean that the AS Manstar decoy bomb can also be equipped on battleships? But after thinking about it, Qin Tian still gave up. Goddess of Nemesis already has enough HP. As for Phoenix, with Rui's blood recovery characteristic, there is generally no problem. So let's use it for Rui's J-31 stealth fighter. After all, even though that fighter jet is of the Genesis level, its blood volume is only more than 15,000 points. The blood still felt a little thin. And if Clifford hears what he said in his heart, I'm afraid I'm not going to cry to death directly. After all, his current fighter jets with the highest quality are only a few Purple Epic 3rd generation fighter jets, while Huang only has more than 5,000 fighters. After collecting a few drawings, Qin Tian then opened his plane map. I want to see if I can be lucky enough to meet a world boss. It's a pity that it lasted until 11:50 noon. Let alone the world boss. He didn't even see a green quality treasure chest. He shook his head speechlessly. Qin Tian immediately returned to his rest cabin, opened the refrigerator, picked out 2,500 units of the leader Libya, and hung it in the one-star auction hall that he had reserved. Then he went to the cabin where the amethyst rice was placed, got 10,000 caddies of amethyst rice and hung it up. And went to the warehouse to hang up 1,000 units of elite sea beast teeth and 2,000 units of ordinary sea beast teeth. It didn't take long to set the starting price. The 12 o'clock auction time has arrived. In Auction Hall 1, the number of gods chosen who came to participate in the auction soon exceeded 1 million. For these chosen ones, whether you buy it or not, it is also a good pastime to come to see the excitement. After all, in World of Warships, there are too few entertainment items. In the live broadcast hall, millions of gods chosen couldn't help but widen their eyes when they saw the 3 auction items on the auction list. Start chatting in the chat channel of the auction house. Oh my god, I want to know just how rich this Qin Tian is in terms of supplies. Ziba, I just want to know how Qin Tian grows 10,000 caddies of rice. My cruiser also has a planting cabin, but I can only harvest more than 500 caddies of rice every 3 months, so he came here. How long is World of Warships? It will be more than 4 months if it is full of games. This is really too astonishing. 2,500 units of World Boss King level meat, 10,000 caddies of amethyst rice, and there are actually 1,000 units of elite sea beast teeth and 2,000 units of ordinary sea beast teeth, which have to be hunted. How many sea beasts? It can only be said that God Qin is too awesome. The sea beast that is difficult for us to fight is a toy that can be manipulated casually in front of God Qin. Shet, and David Agda, who was far away on the island of the Cyril family, was immediately blown away when he saw this sentence in the chat channel of the auction house. Fuck. God, how many sea beasts have been hunted and killed? Those sea beast teeth are obviously from his family's island. As a result, everything is now cheaper than the robber. Fortunately, he had the foresight. At the beginning, he got all the top-grade sea beast teeth on his own boat. Otherwise, it is really a big loss. Because of the unexpected joy of having sea beast teeth, many gods chosen who originally planned to watch the fun suddenly became interested. After all, the manufacture of weapons and equipment is always inseparable from this thing. The sea beast tooth can be said to be a material that all ordinary gods chosen people just need. Soon, the auction enters a 3-minute countdown to prepare. The price of the starting bid is displayed behind the 3 items. All 3 items can be bid on in wood, plastic, and sheet metal. The starting price per unit transaction for World Boss King meat is 1,500 units of bad wood. Low quality plastic 1,500 units. 1,200 units of inferior metal sheet. Each price increase shall not be less than 200 units. The starting price per unit Jin of amethyst rice is 200 units of bad wood. Poor plastic 200 units. 150 units of poor quality metal sheet. Each price increase shall not be less than 100 units. The starting price per unit for common sea beast teeth is poor wood 500 units. Poor quality plastic 500 units. 300 units of inferior metal sheet. Each price increase shall not be less than 100 units. The starting price per unit of elite sea beast teeth is 1,000 units of bad wood. Low quality plastic 1,000 units. 800 units of inferior metal sheet. Each price increase shall not be less than 100 units. After seeing the starting price set by Qin Tian, many of the best candidates, they all nodded secretly. There is one thing to say. Every time Qin Tian conducts auctions, the starting price is relatively reasonable. Not very high. Let these buyers feel very comfortable. For a while, countless gods chosen looked at those World Boss King level meat and sea beast teeth, ready to give it a go. On the contrary, the amethyst rice mentioned by Qin Tian was rarely paid attention to. It's not like they didn't have gods chosen to make mutated rice. It's just that the taste is better at most, and the taste is better. As for strengthening the physique, that is pure nonsense. It's nonsense. If rice can strengthen the body, then why do you need king level meat? Wouldn't it be nice if people just eat the rice? But not everyone thinks so. Some people who recognize Qin Tian's character are going to buy hundreds of caddies of amethyst rice at this moment to try it out. There is the more family in it. 65%. Chapter 330. Can it really strengthen the physique? Regretful chosen one. After many observations, Berg, who had a better understanding of Qin Tian's character, naturally knew. With Qin Tian's current strength and financial resources, there is absolutely no need to use lies to sell your own products with exaggeration. Since the other party said that this purple crystal rice can strengthen the body, then this kind of amethyst rice 100% has this kind of effect. It's just how strong or weak the effect is. And with the countdown to the auction, the countdown ends. The bidding prices behind the two items, World Boss King Meat and Sea Beast Teeth, immediately skyrocketed. Of course, this time Qin Tian also tentatively set up that the same amount of ordinary materials and high-quality materials can be used for transactions. It's just that Qin Tian waited for a few minutes. It is found that relatively few people trade with these two materials. Most of the chosen ones still prefer to use inferior materials for bidding and trading. At first Qin Tian was a little puzzled, but soon he figured it out. It is clear, few people are willing to use the materials synthesized by themselves at a high cost of time to buy and squander. Normal and good stuff. Most of the chosen keep it for themselves. Qin Tian didn't care too much about it. If you are willing to bid with inferior materials, you can bid with inferior materials. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he now has Sun Xiaoyang, a synthesis expert, under him. Tens of millions of units of materials can be synthesized in just a few days. Now Qin Tian cares more about the amethyst rice. Those who bid for amethyst rice are the chosen ones. After a lot of almost symbolic bidding 2 or 3 times, it will not increase. Seeing this, Qin Tian could only sigh helplessly. These are the people who almost sold amethyst rice at the lowest price. This time I definitely stood in the ranks of eating crabs for the first time. Wait for the efficacy of amethyst rice to be exposed after this sale. At that time, I wanted to buy amethyst rice at such a low price and so easily. That's almost impossible. Qin Tian scrolled through some more interfaces in boredom. Suddenly he discovered a very miraculous thing. That is, behind the amethyst rice there are 50 Jin and 100 Jin amethyst rice that are automatically combined by the auction house cooperation system. What surprised him even more was that these amethyst lights actually showed the auctioneer at this moment. It means that all of these 50 Jin and 100 Jin amethyst rice were all auctioned off. He turned back another dozen pages. The result is the same result. Those amethyst rice were all auctioned with a bid. This phenomenon is somewhat strange. It is estimated that a certain wealthy family is secretly making a move. Until the end of the 10-minute auction, Qin Tian looked at the results he made this time, with a faint smile on his face. World Boss Leader Rebia King Meat and Sea Beast Teeth are selling extremely well. Leader Rebia King Meat. Most of the bidding prices reached over 10,000 units. The highest bid for ordinary Sea Beast Teeth reached more than 4,000 units. The teeth of elite Sea Beasts reached more than 6,000. In short, this wave of auctions came down. The 3 low-quality materials in his trading background all became 14 to 5 million in an instant. This harvest can be said to satisfy Qin Tian very much. And this is because amethyst rice didn't perform well this time. Without selling at a good price. Otherwise, the 3 low-quality materials would have to be several million more than this. The auction is over. The chosen one who bought the Leader Rebia King Meat and Sea Beast Teeth was naturally elated. It felt like a battle was won. And those God-chosen who didn't snatch these 2 favorite items, but successfully bought amethyst rice. Naturally, he took his anger out on the amethyst rice he bought. Anyway, it's time for dinner. So they took out the amethyst rice from the trading background. Let the crew who are in charge of cooking cook the rice. Wait for the crew to bring lunch to the table. When those God-chosen eat the first bite of amethyst rice, the whole person froze immediately. The taste enjoyment made them instinctively chew the fragrant, refreshing amethyst in their mouths. It wasn't until several seconds later that they recovered from the focus on the taste. Not only them, including their crew members are almost in this state. And when they finished eating the amethyst rice in the bowl slowly, many gods chosen who had never experienced king-level flesh enhancement clearly felt a little bit stronger in physical fitness. This stunned them. Ask for flowers. Unexpectedly, the amethyst rice sold by Qin Tian actually has the effect of strengthening the body. And at this moment, whether it is the World Chat channel or the Country Chat channel, Everyone inside is talking about amethyst rice. Bosses, who has extra amethyst rice? I am willing to spend 50,000 units of wood to buy 100 caddies of amethyst rice. Hey, you upstairs are probably thinking about farting. Now everyone knows that this amethyst rice does have the effect of strengthening people's physical fitness. You actually want to buy a caddy of amethyst rice with the price of 500 units of cabbage. It's really taken for granted. Damn it, I obviously bid for 100 caddies of amethyst rice in the back, but who knew it was robbed by someone else in the end? Has the one upstairs been robbed too? I didn't choose as many as you. I picked the 50 gin one, but it was also robbed in the end. The ones who can do this kind of handwriting are definitely the big capitalists, fake, but I don't know which big family is so shameless. Ah, I really regret it to death. Why didn't I take out all my wealth to fight for a while? If I did, the bicycle would definitely become a motorcycle now. The chat channel is full of abuse and regret. And on the island of the Moore family. The 4 core members of the Moore family were completely convinced when they saw Berg sitting leisurely in their seats. This brother of mine is really so f***ing smart. This time, if it wasn't for the fact that the other party used Curry's small half of the materials in the warehouse to bid for 80% of the amethyst rice in the auction house. They will never earn such a lot of money. Now the news that this amethyst rice can strengthen the human body is exposed. Coupled with the lingering taste and texture. Originally, the value of amethyst rice was only 1 or 200 units per caddy. Now it sells for at least 600 or 700 per caddy, even during the initial period of explosion. It is not impossible to sell thousands of units per caddy. And Qin Tian was too lazy to pay attention to these. Because at this moment, he has already arrived on the Phoenix after eating. With epic YL-4S air-to-air missile blueprint and advanced AS Mengsing decoy bullet blueprint, we are ready to give Rui's Genesis J-31 stealth fighter a wave of comprehensive combat power upgrades. 66%. Chapter 331. Unopened God-level treasure island. Deck. Rui was by Qin Tian's side. Just now, he obeys Qin Tian's orders. Drive a fighter jet and shoot out all the anti-air missiles above. Now watching Qin Tian take out 2 blueprints. The light in his eyes suddenly lit up, and there was a faint look of anticipation on his face. After getting along for so long, he naturally knows that as long as his own captain holds the blueprints and operates like this, the quality and combat effectiveness of the things produced will definitely not be low. No wonder his own captain said that he would give his fighters a wave of enhanced armament. Under Rui's gaze, Qin Tian used divine detective technique to open the attribute panel of Epic YL-4S air-to-air missile blueprint. With a thought, I chose Advanced. Manufacturing the Genesis YL-4S air-to-air missile requires 20,000 high-quality plastics, 15,000 high-quality metal sheets, 1,000 high-quality nails, 573 inches 0, and 200 top-quality sea beast teeth. Will the captain make them? Manufacture. Qin Tian nodded, with the disappearance of drawings. Soon, on the 6 anti-aircraft weapon pylons that were already empty on the fighter jet, missiles with red stripes reappeared one after another. This is the Genesis YL-4S air-to-air missile. Qin Tian threw a divine detective technique directly. Item. Genesis YL-4S air-to-air missile. Quality. Colorful. Ix. 6,850. Flying speed. Mach 4. Durability. 8,000. Effective range. 40 kilometers. Requirement. Every 2,000 units of high-quality metal pieces consumed can launch 1 piece. Introduction. YL-4S air-to-air missile adopts dual-thrust solid motors, which realizes the control of helmet sights. When you see the missile performance in the introduction, a smile appeared on Qin Tian's face immediately. Bull batch. This performance is simply unbeatable. 6,850 attack, also anti-stealth, anti-jamming. Coupled with over-the-shoulder attack and helmet aiming, see where to hit. This undoubtedly maximizes the maneuverability of this air-to-air missile. Over-the-shoulder attack is to lock the enemy behind. Even if the enemy flies behind with a difficult maneuver. But Rui can still launch YL-4S missiles forward. The launched YL-4S air-to-air missile will automatically turn around to track the target enemy aircraft behind. It can be said that it is impossible to guard against. Qin Tian didn't tell Rui about this feature. The live broadcast is still open. If it is said, it is undoubtedly telling all the chosen ones in World of Warships about the performance of this missile. Qin Tian is not that stupid. Finished with the missile. Qin Tian immediately picked up the drawing of the decoy bomb. Manufacturing the mythical AS Manstar decoy bomb requires 6,000 high-quality plastics, 4,000 high-quality metal sheets, 3,000 high-quality nails, and 150 top-quality sea beast teeth. Will the captain manufacture it? Qin Tian nodded and said, made. Soon the drawings disappeared in his hand. Qin Tian walked up to the fighter plane. He squatted down and looked at the bottom of the fighter plane. Sure enough, at the position of a trapdoor at the bottom, the attribute panel of the AS Mengsing decoy bomb was scanned. Item: Mythical AS Manstar decoy bullet. Quality: red. Interference method: ghost signal. Bomb capacity: 8 pieces. Effective range: 10 kilometers. Requirement: for every 3,000 units of high-quality metal pieces consumed, 1 round can be launched. Introduction. Programmed with a new threat defense wave technology, the powerful miniature jammer can emit an electronic ghost signal that is convincing for radar scanning. Detonate within the range. The success rate of attracting missiles below mythical level is 100%, the success rate of attracting missiles of mythical level is 80%, and the success rate of attracting missiles of creation level is 50%. Qin Tian looked at the attribute panel. He nodded to express his satisfaction. The success rate of myth-level missiles is 80%, and the success rate of creation-level missiles is 50%. This is already very good data. In the evening, I had a sumptuous meal transported from the Nemesis on the Phoenix. And after the live broadcast ended, he told Rui the details of the 2 types of ammunition that were newly equipped. Rui nodded after listening. My heart is also a little eager to try. It's just that time flies, like a white horse passing by. Their 2 warships spent more than 20 days at sea. Rui didn't meet an enemy worthy of his Genesis-level YL-4S air-to-air missile. Even the King-level sea beast that they finally encountered. He just used mythical A-16 Vulcan 20mm 6-tube aviation cannon and Nemesis to easily solve the opponent. But just today, he learned from Qin Tian's mouth. About 3 or 4 more days. They may be about to encounter an unprecedented war. This made Rui's fighting spirit soar to the peak in an instant. Hold back for such a long time. Finally, I can relax. Rui was looking forward to it. That night, the still hot sea breeze kept blowing on his face. Qin Tian, who just drank a bottle of water, unconsciously felt thirsty again. At this moment, he was standing on the deck of the bow of the Nemesis. With the silver light of the big and round moon, I was quietly enjoying the night scene on the sea. Just yesterday, the extremely hot weather for more than 10 days finally came to an end. Right now, they are sailing at full speed in the direction of the god-level treasure island that the Moore family told him. Qin Tian wanted to see it. Is the god-level treasure island coordinates given to him by the Moore family the ones he knew in his previous life? At this time, they were less than an hour away from the coordinates provided by Berg. Sailing all the way, when Zula told Qin Tian that he had arrived at the coordinate point. Looking at the empty sea around him, Qin Tian couldn't help but fell into deep thought. Looking around, there is no island around here. So Berg wouldn't be playing himself for a fool, would he? Just when anger slowly began to grow in Qin Tian's heart, he accidentally discovered something was wrong. That is the sea area where he is located on 5.9. Under the moonlight, it seems that the color of the sea area in the distance is much deeper. This gave Qin Tian an inspiration. Facing the following, he directly used the divine detective technique. Suddenly, a reminder that had never appeared before appeared in his mind. Item: God-level treasure island unopened. Only this sentence. Nothing else. But anyway, it also proved that Berg from the Moore family did not lie to him. It can be regarded as dispelling the anger in his heart. Qin Tian came to the control room. Facing Chu Hongbao, he said, Hongbao, the air battleship is heading west. Then he looked at Zula again and said, Old Zhu, keep an eye on the radar, and report to me immediately if there are warships. Yes. Chu Hongbao and Zula heard the words and agreed. Then the battleship began to turn, sailing towards due west. 66%. Chapter 332 The coordinates of the second god-level treasure island. Zhang Zongjun is so excited. By the way, Hongbao, what are our current coordinates? Qin Tian sat on the bridge seat. Suddenly, he asked Chu Hongbao as if he had thought of something. Let me see, our current bid is XXXXXX. Chu Hongbao said immediately. Qin Tian listened, immediately shook his head and said to him, Then you don't need to look any further, let's go back and forth in this area to salvage wooden barrels for supplies in the past few days. Listen to the coordinates reported by Chu Hongbao. Qin Tian knew that this island was not the god-level treasure island in the Pirate King Dungeon Sea area that he knew in his previous life. In the copy of the Pirate King, he also played on the periphery for a while in his previous life. He didn't blurt out the coordinates of the copy. But it's okay to give an approximate location. But now the first coordinate reported by Chu Hongbao is 108,000 miles away. So Qin Tian knew immediately. The god-level treasure island that the Moore family gave him was not the one he knew in his previous life. Right now, there are only 8 or 9 days left before the opening of the god-level treasure island. It must be too late in time to go to that god-level treasure island. That being the case, then take over the island yourself. The treasure island in the dungeon of the Pirate King can be occupied by Zhang Zongjun and the others. Take Zhang Zongjun's regard for himself. If you think about it, you won't treat yourself badly. In this case, the Yanlong Navy occupies a god-level treasure island and produces an aircraft carrier with double attributes, so it can still maintain its current strength and status in the world of warships. You can also continue to provide yourself with sufficient supplies and protection. After all, only the strength is strong. Gods chosen from other countries dare not easily find fault. Influence the chosen of the Yanlong Empire to collect supplies. And there's a little more. In his last life, he heard that Phyllis Lot discovered a god-level treasure island to the east of the Pirate King dungeon. Now it seems, that is the god-level treasure island discovered by Phyllis Lot. That's clearly the god-level treasure island specially selected by the Lot family. That treasure island was specially reserved for the Lot family. Then think of the operations of the Moore family. Qin Tian guessed that the Lot family also wanted to keep the copy of the Pirate King in their own hands, and then slowly privatize it. Because the copy of Pirate King has not been exposed yet. As long as the Lot family occupies the god-level treasure island, the double attribute aircraft carrier comes out. Then use the strength of the whole family to fight in the dungeon for a period of time. Perhaps by then, this ambition will really be realized. After all, compared to the copy of the Sea of Death near the Moore family, the difficulty of the Pirate King dungeon has to be lowered by 2 or 3 levels. Instead of making it cheaper for the Lotter family, why not leave this opportunity to the Yanlong Empire? At that time, I can freely enter and exit the copy to upgrade equipment and gain benefits. Why not do it? Think here. Qin Tian immediately opened Zhang Zongjun's private chat interface. Sent a message to Zhang Zongjun. General Zhang, are you busy? Message back there soon. Haha, I'm not busy. What's the matter? Where did you go to explore recently? Qin Tian smiled slightly and sent a message. Where can I go? Seeing that the day when the god-level treasure island is born is getting closer, I must be looking for the coordinates of the god-level treasure island. Zhang Zongjun was very interested when he saw this message. How did you find it? Qin Tian replied. I found it. In order to avoid losing both me and me, the Moore family provided me with a coordinate at the beginning. I just came to the vicinity based on that coordinate and took a look. There is indeed a god-level treasure island that has not yet been released. Oh, that's right, I knew you boy had a way. Those big capitalists have too much information in their hands, so they should be squeezed dry. Zhang Zongjun had no doubts about Qin Tian. Just sincerely happy for Qin Tian. At the same time, he sighed helplessly in his heart. As the news of the god-level treasure island spread, more and more people are inquiring about this news. And although he also sent a lot of people to search around, but there was no result. Someone favored by God brought him information from the outside world. It is said that someone from more than a dozen capital families in the Eurasian Federation probably has the detailed information on the god-level treasure island. But they did not inquire about the specific situation. Now the big question is, once the god-level treasure island comes out, those wealthy families in the Eurasian Federation are likely to have more than half of the aircraft carriers with double attributes. But their Yanlong Navy couldn't get a single ship. At that time, 100% will be collectively suppressed by those guys from the Eurasian Federation again. That is to say, now there is one more situation where coastal defense lines can be built. It can also be regarded as increasing the ability of a lot of island defense. Just when Zhang Zongjun was frowning, but Qin Tian sent him a message. General Zhang, this time I came to you because of the god-level treasure island. After searching and exploring for a while, I found another clue about the god-level treasure island. What? Kid Qin, are you sure? Zhang Zongjun saw this message from Qin Tian. The eyes became extremely bright in an instant. Absolutely, General Zhang, I have occupied this treasure island now, so I definitely don't have the energy to occupy another treasure island, so General Zhang, I decided to share the coordinates of that god-level treasure island with you. Qin Tian sent a message and said. Zhang Zongjun's breathing became much heavier in an instant. XXX, 4x, General Zhang, these are the coordinates of a dungeon I found before. You don't need to worry about this dungeon. When you look east from this dungeon, you will be able to find the location of the god-level treasure island. It's just that 843 has passed and now, you probably won't be able to find that treasure island. If there is a god chosen who awakens the talent of detection, you can take it with you, maybe it will be of some use. Like the treasure island I found from the clues of the Moore family, it is the trace of a god-level treasure island that I discovered from the bottom of the sea with my talent for exploration. Oh, and, General Zhang, the coordinates of the island I gave you are likely to be god-level treasure islands controlled by the Lot family, so you should bring more experts when the time comes. Then bring some cruisers that are not weak and have strong maneuverability. If you really want to see the fleet of the Lot family, needless to say, just act first and sink the opponent's fleet first. Let's talk about the opportunity when we get it. Qin Tian sent a message outlining the general situation. There's nothing to hide either. But Zhang Zongjun was very moved when he saw the information. Good boy, I really didn't see the wrong person. Okay, don't worry, you kid. We don't care about god-level treasure islands or anything. The key is an aircraft carrier with double attributes. As long as we can get one, when our Yanlong Navy faces those guys from the Eurasian Federation, there is a certain confidence. Zhang Zongjun sent a message to Qin Tian. When I bring back the double attribute aircraft carrier, you kid will be the biggest contributor. At that time, you have to think about what reward you want. Even if I don't want my old face, I have to get the reward for you. 66%. Chapter 333 Mythical Grade Amethyst Dragon Tooth Rice, Zhang Zongjun's fight has begun. Qin Tian saw this message. The corner of the mouth suddenly turned up slightly. This is what he wanted. Ha ha ha, then I will thank General Zhang first. Qin Tian was also polite, and then continued to send messages to Zhang Zongjun. However, time is running out now, General Zhang, you should leave after you are almost settled. Zhang Zongjun replied. Indeed, I took a look at the location just now. If my battleship sails at full speed, it will take more than 7 days to reach the place. Qin Tian frowned slightly when he saw this information. It took more than 7 days to get to the copy of the Pirate King. Looking further east, who knows how long it will take. It seems that the time left for Zhang Zongjun and the others is really tight. General Zhang, you have to leave today. Qin Tian said in a message. Indeed, let me tell Lang Lai first, if it's really not possible, I'll hand over the work here, tidy up a little and start off. Zhang Zongjun didn't have any other good options, so he simply prepared to leave now. After Qin Tian replied, okay. Also no longer bother each other. The call ended immediately. The next 8 days. Qin Tian's 2 warships circled back and forth in this sea area. It can also be regarded as familiarizing yourself with the situation in this sea area in advance. It was more than 9 o'clock this morning. After having breakfast, Qin Tian followed Yu Hai and the others to stand in the orange planting pod. His eyes were fixed on the legendary ecological rice field with purple light. Today is the day when the amethyst rice is grown in this paddy field. Can this batch of amethyst rice breed more advanced varieties by relying on mythical black soil? Just look at the upcoming harvest. Soon, with a purple light flashed across the rice field. It is obvious that there are more than a dozen taller rice ears in the field, emitting purple light particles that are more intense than the light of the surrounding rice ears. See this scene. Yu Dai said with a look of joy on his face. Captain, it's done. The dozens of rice ears are obviously higher level mutants. Wait, I'll go and harvest them. Lao Ma, Wen Zheng, come and help. He said. Take a homemade sickle to clear the road one by one. Keep moving towards one of the mutant amethyst rice. Ma Yongganian responded to Wen Zheng. The two are also not to be outdone. One took a sickle from the corner. He cut towards the other 2 mutated crystal rice plants. About 10 minutes. The 3 came before Qin Tian. One person is holding a few ears of rice that are filled with dense purple light particles. Qin Tian took over the dozens of mutated amethyst rice ears. With a thought, scanned directly with divine detective technique. Item. Mythical amethyst dragon tooth rice. Quality. Red. Efficacy. A magical rice mutated by absorbing the essence and blood of the dragon. It can be cultivated to harvest mythical quality amethyst dragon tooth rice. This variety has a short growth cycle and low yield per mu. Long-term consumption can improve human body functions in an all-round way. It has the effect of enhancing strength and physique and prolonging life. Hiss. When seeing the introduction of this new advanced variant rice, Qin Tian's pupils suddenly contracted violently. I couldn't help but sucked in a breath of cold air. He has bred some kind of fairy rice. Not to mention the all-round improvement of human body functions. A phrase prolonging life unexpectedly popped up from behind. This is a little scary. If you eat rice normally, you can have the effect of prolonging life. Isn't this rice as good as the elixir? Although the introduction also said that the yield per mu is low, but Qin Tian's great large ecological paddy field has a 500% extra harvest feature, no matter how low the yield per mu is. That must be higher than the harvest of this legendary rice field. Raising his head, Qin Tian looked at Yu Dai and said solemnly, "Old Yu, you have to cultivate these dozen or so newly mutated amethyst rice for me. If they are cultivated, the amethyst rice will be better than amethyst rice. Ordinary white rice is just a little stronger, but the benefits of this new variant of amethyst longya rice are unimaginable to us." See Qin Tian's serious expression. Yu Dai also realized that they seemed to have cultivated a remarkable crop. He immediately patted his chest and promised loudly, "Don't worry, Captain, we promise to complete the mission." The corner of Qin Tian's mouth slightly raised, then he patted the other person's shoulder and nodded, "Then I'll leave it to you." Finished. He handed over the dozens of mythical amethyst dragon tooth rice to Yu Dai. And in the live broadcast room, after hearing Qin Tian's words, countless gods chosen showed curious expressions and began to guess. My god, the current amethyst rice alone has been fried to a level of 600 or 700 supplies per caddy. Qin Shen actually said that the rice produced by this new variant can kill amethyst rice in seconds, only better than ordinary white rice. 1 point, how perverted is this new mutant rice? Oh my god, every time I see these people eating amethyst rice, I salivate, but in reality, it seems that only Qin Tian's wife has amethyst rice. I really envy her. Sigh, it's useless to be envious, we can't go to the Yanlong Empire, and if we go, they might not be able to talk to us. I don't know what's so magical about this new variety of rice. Amethyst rice can already slightly strengthen the human body, but now it's so unbearable by Qin Tian. It's possible that the new variety of amethyst dragon tooth rice can also strengthen the body. Can prolong life. Of course, Qin Tian didn't know about the content of these chats in the live broadcast room. If only he knew. Seeing this sentence, I'm afraid I have to give the other party a shot gesture immediately. One more sentence, brother, you spoiled it. At this time Qin Tian left the planting cabin. I plan to go to the control room and wait for the god-level treasure island that may come out at any time. Just when he had just stepped onto the deck, suddenly, diddy private chat notification sounded in my mind. Qin Tian thought it was a message from Zhang Zongjun. Hastily opened to see. After looking at it, I found that it was a message from Nangongla. Wahahaha, boss, the missiles you strengthened for me are really Qianhao, so cool. Several cruisers of the Lauder family were killed by me without even a chance to fight back. See this message from the other party. Qin Tian was stunned at first. Then hurriedly returned the message. Nangong, you mean that you have fought against the fleet of the Lot family? Then how is your situation? Have you finished fighting? Nangong happily replied. Well, we fought, and just started fighting. On the way, General Zhang told me and Brother Leng that you don't need to report when you encounter the Lauder family's fleet, just go straight to work. Just now, when the two sides were close to 40 kilometers away, I directly used anti-ship. The missile launched an attack on several cruisers of the opponent, and as a result directly sank 3 cruisers of the opponent. Qin Tian sent a message directly when he saw this. Tell General Zhang, you must not keep your hand, and you must wipe out the opponent. Seeing this, Nangongla replied directly. Don't worry, boss, what you are saying now is the order that General Zhang gave us just now. 66%. Chapter 334 Yanlong Navy vs. Lot Family. Qin Tian looked at this message. I secretly gave Zhang Zongjun a thumbs up in my heart. Can only say, as expected of an experienced general. In terms of the battlefield, I guess I can't keep up with others in flattery. By the way, Nangong, how many warships does the Lot family have? Qin Tian asked curiously. This kind of task. The strength of the opponent's fleet should not be weak. Not too many, 2 battleships, 2 battlecruisers, 2 cruisers and hundreds of destroyers. Facing Qin Tian's question, Nangongle responded directly by sending a message. So much. Qin Tian frowned slightly when he saw this. 2 battleships and 2 battle cruisers. It seems that the Lauder family can do it. At the beginning of the Battle of Tianshu Island, he sank the battleship of Phyllis, Lord Commander of House Lot. Then beat off Reese Duke's battleship. As a result, the morale of the Eurasian Federation plummeted and the fleet collapsed. At that time the whole battle came down. I am afraid that the warships of the Lot family have not lost much. As a result, it took only 3 or 4 efforts. 2 more battleships and 2 battle cruisers appeared on the other side. Have to say, the background of the Lot family is indeed a bit deep. 2 battleships, 2 battle cruisers. Can you handle it? Qin Tian asked Nangongle. What's the threat? Unexpectedly, Nangongle said confidently. 527 We have General Zhang's large battleship, my large missile battleship, and Brother Leng's large battlecruiser, and we have quite a few cruisers and destroyers, even more than them. What we should worry about is them. Immediately afterwards, Nangongle continued to send messages. Especially after you have strengthened all my missiles by a large amount, Big Brother, I bet that after a while my cooling time is over, I will directly aim at a battleship of the opponent with a wave. I don't believe that I can't kill it. At this moment the fleet of the Lot family has already been sunk with 3 cruisers and several destroyers. On the other hand, with my innate skill, entire army escort, the 2 destroyers are out of luck. It was sunk directly by concentrated fire, and there was no loss in the rest. See this message from Nangongle. Qin Tian also had a clear understanding of the strength comparison on the battlefield. In this case, he has nothing to worry about. If the fleet of the Lot family runs away now, it probably won't have any hope of surviving. But if you choose to be tough, then the fleet of the Lot family will not be able to please them 100%. And in fact, at this moment, Oswald Lot was about to collapse. He didn't know why he encountered AGDF, the Yanlong Empire's fleet in this sea area. But right now, the God-level treasure island may come out at any time. So the safest way is to sink all the Yanlong Empire's fleet. As the saying goes, meeting on a narrow road, the brave wins. The fleet he formed this time, even though he has 2 battleships and 2 battle cruisers. But the most troublesome thing right now is the opponent's guided missile battleship. What the hell? I have long heard that the Yanlong Empire has recently produced a female general of Chengxi. Out of luck. It is almost the kind of lucky value max that opening a treasure box will surely produce a good thing. He didn't take it seriously at all. But seeing the wave of missiles coming from the opponent, it killed the missile damage of the 3 cruisers in his fleet. Oswald lived in Bengbu. What kind of a mortal injury is this? I'm afraid not all missiles are mythical and legendary, right? Didn't it mean that high-level missiles are hard to get in World of Warships? Their family has thousands of warships. In the past 2 or 3 years, don't say mythical level. It's just that the legendary missiles haven't been fired much. But right now, the opponent has so many equipments. I really don't know how this Nangongle can release so many advanced missiles. Could it be that this woman is the daughter of the will of the planet? Oswald thought indignantly. If you let him know that there are Genesis-class ship-to-air missiles on the opponent's warship, I don't know how I will feel. Shish. And at this moment, he heard another burst of missile firing. Look around. The guided missile battleship Nangongle started launching missiles along with countless destroyers. As a large group of missiles approached, the fierce near-defense guns suddenly began to roar wildly. The missiles launched by those destroyers will be easily blasted in midair by the close and anti-aircraft guns. But the advanced missiles launched by Nangongle's guided missile battleship are not easy to deal with. The super high durability makes it hardly care about the damage of ordinary close-in guns. Even if the close-in defense guns of these warships fired together. There are also several epic close-in defense guns firing. But the incoming missiles are too dense, and it is not bad to be able to focus on killing 3 or 5 advanced missiles of the opponent. As more high-quality missiles mixed in behind, they fell in the rain of destroyer missiles. With the rumbling, tremors and explosions, a crew member in charge of observing the status of the fleet immediately reported to him, "General, the battleship Corinne was hit by multiple advanced missiles, and its HP has dropped by 70%. How many? Oswald heard this hurt, standing up from the bridge seat at once. A wave of missiles actually wiped out 70% of the blood of a battleship. Fakata's leather swallow. If this is a wave for him, wouldn't it also cause 50% to 60% damage? After all, his battleship's blood volume is not much higher than the opponent's. No way. When Phyllis was alive, almost all the good things that came out were offered to that vampire who likes to be authoritarian. Although their relatives have also strengthened their warships a lot. But the equipment items when strengthening the battleship are exhausted, that is, the epic level, most of which are of high quality. So, although their battleships, blood volume and defense are stronger than those of ordinary gods chosen. But the advantage is not so obvious. Originally, Felice was killed by Qin Tian. Oswald was promoted to the commander-in-chief of the Lauder family. He also thought about taking advantage of the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of breaking through the aircraft carrier to obtain double attributes this time when the god-level treasure island appeared in the world, so as to achieve overtaking in curves and make himself a salty fish. But who knew that after waiting for 3 or 4 months, it finally came to this day. When you come here, you will encounter the naval fleet of the Yanlong Empire. God knows why the fleet of the Yanlong Navy appeared here. Just as Oswald cursed secretly in his angry heart. At this time, the grand announcement of the will of the planet suddenly resounded in the ears of all the chosen ones. Ding! The god-level treasure island will appear in 5 minutes. God's chosen ones, please prepare for the battle. Hear the cue. Everyone's movements couldn't help but stagnate slightly. But then, whether it is Zhang Zongjun or Oswald, they are all crazy. Everyone, give me a battleship that collects blood from the fire. Zhang Zongjun asked everyone to aim at the battleship that was crippled by Nangong Liyibo. And Oswald did not show weakness here. He roared with a loudspeaker. Everyone focus on that guided missile battleship for me. Whoever sinks the opponent's battleship, I will upgrade his battleship to a battleship when I go back. 66%. Chapter 335 God-level treasure island appears, attacking Rui. With the sound of the planet's will, the sound fell. The atmosphere in this sea area has also become more dignified and crazy. The battle between the Yanlong Empire Navy fleet led by Zhang Zongjun and the Lot family fleet entered a fierce battle in an instant. And at this moment, after Qin Tian heard the prompt tone of the will of the planet, immediately came to the control room. Let Chu Hongbao control the battleship to sail to the coordinates where the god-level treasure island is located. Old Zhu, are there any other warships within 100 kilometers of Fangyuan? Qin Tian sat on a chair on the bridge. Asked towards Zula. No, there were 2 warships sailing past here yesterday, but the other party was obviously just passing by, and never appeared again after crossing the area at the edge of the radar. 1 inch. Zula reported to Qin Tian. Very good. Tell Yao Ming and the others to get ready. The god-level treasure island is about to appear, and there will definitely be pirates and other forces on the island, so I will wipe them all out. Qin Tian gave the order and said, Yes, Captain. Zula responded. Immediately opened the communication link Phoenix. Pass Qin Tian's order to the past. Soon, Zula turned his head and said, Captain, Master Rui has boarded the plane and can take off at any time. Qin Tian nodded. Then it didn't take long for their battleship to sail forward. I saw the sea tens of kilometers ahead. A large piece of golden light suddenly enveloped the entire sea area. Stop. Qin Tian immediately sat up straight and gave the order. The 2 battleships slowly parked one after the other. After about 2 or 3 minutes passed, I saw that dazzling golden light began to gradually dissipate. Soon the scene inside was revealed. Hiss. After seeing the island that revealed its true face clearly. Whether it's Qin Tian and the others or the audience in the live broadcast room. Everyone couldn't help but widen their eyes, deeply attracted by the beauty of the island. I saw that it was an extremely huge island. Its area is more than 10 ordinary islands combined. Moreover, the mountains, rocks and trees above are lush and lush. Even those who choose in the mountains and forests can see the endless water mist agitated by the waterfall that is flying down and transpiring in the air. There is quite a bit of cloud steaming and rosy clouds, a beautiful dreamy beauty. And just glanced over, it can be seen how rich materials and fertile land are contained in this god-level treasure island. Certainly, the treasure island that can be solemnly announced by the will of the planet is obviously not so easy to capture. On the sea not far from the island port, hundreds of pirate warships are cruising there, relying on the supervision that has been strengthened several times to see the past. 3 battleships and a dozen cruisers can be vaguely seen, surrounded by hundreds of destroyers and frigates. In the middle of this fleet, on the other hand, there is a huge aircraft carrier with a pure black body and a white skull painted on it quietly. Pirates even have aircraft carriers. This heaven-defying setting is so speechless. Qin Tian complained weakly in his heart. Then he said to Zula, Old Zhu, bring me the picture of the pirate's aircraft carrier. Yes, Captain. Zula nodded. After a while of operation, a picture of the radar image appears on the screen. Qin Tian asked Zula to enlarge the picture. Zula did as he was told. When everyone sees the enlarged image clearly, everyone was surprised. On the deck of the pitch-black aircraft carrier painted with white skulls, 40 or 50 fighter jets with the same pitch black were parked. Oh, it's still a complete set, and the whole set is quite formal. Qin Tian shook his head dumbfounded. Then he said to Zula and Dong Zhuang, tell Rui, all the fighter jets on the aircraft carrier will be handed over to him, and our task is to deal with the 3 battleships first. Yes, the two agreed. Immediately notify Phoenix to prepare for battle. On the other hand, Qin Tian directly used the must-hit talent to target one of the 3 battleships. After saying, fire, the 3 main guns roared immediately. They fired shells at the battleship in unison. Instantly, a series of -3,522, -3,507, -465 scarlet damage floated up from the battleship's head. The full blood bar of the battleship was directly emptied by 1/3. Obviously, as the enemies encountered now are getting stronger and stronger, the disadvantages of his hastily binding 3 naval guns to the must-hit talent also emerged. And with his attack, Zula and Dong Zhuang also started to attack violently and ferociously with their battleship weapons, and suffered the attack of naval guns and missiles. The pirate warships around the port also responded one after another. Turn the muzzle, while sailing towards Qin Tian. One side also launched a fierce counterattack. At the same time, on the black aircraft carrier, dozens of fighter jets with dark black bodies also began to take off into the sky one after another. Zero seeking flowers, and Phoenix aircraft carrier side. See enemy fighter jets take off. Ray immediately lowered the hatch of the cabin. After giving a thumbs up to everyone below, immediately, he also controlled his own fighter jet to take off quickly. After doing a high-speed climbing maneuver in the air lightly, Rui drove the fighter jet and rushed towards the dozens of enemy planes at high speed. With full confidence in his own skills, he didn't pay attention to the dozens of fighter jets on the opposite side at all. Shish, when the distance between the two sides was more than 20 kilometers. The 48 fighters on the opposite side suddenly fired air-to-air missiles towards Rui. All of a sudden, more than 90 air-to-air missiles were flying towards Rui's Genesis-class J-31 stealth fighter jet with trailing white smoke. Face so many missile attacks. Rui did not see the slightest panic. When it was about 10 meters away from those missiles, it suddenly climbed upwards at a high speed. For a while, all the missiles turned to follow up. But because of the hasty turn, the distance between many missiles is obviously much closer. And after Rui controlled the fighter plane to rise, another backward roll, and a rapid nose-down dive. Then he adjusted the angle slightly, and quickly rushed towards the opponent's fighter group with a tail of missiles, and pressed the launch button of the mythical aviation cannon on the handle. Immediately, a long string of red bullets and long whips swept towards a fighter plane of the opponent. At the same time, he also turned on the fire control system, aimed at another fighter and directly launched 2 YL-4S air-to-air missiles. Boom boom. It's just a face-to-face effort. The opponent's 2 fighter jets directly exploded into flames in the fleet. Da da da. Seeing Rui is so arrogant. Both of their fighters were scrapped at the very beginning. The enemy pilots were also angry. They launched cannon attacks on Rui's fighter jets one after another. For a while, a series of bullets and long whips enveloped his fighter like a spider web. Almost all flying directions around Rui were locked. It's just that Rui's fighter control is too nuanced. Almost every maneuver is flying against the whips fired by those fighter jets. This wave of machine gun attacks from the enemy did not cause the slightest damage to Rui. Instead, it exploded a lot of air-to-air missiles behind him for a long time. 67%. Chapter 336. After a complete victory, the pirates actually engaged in a sneak attack. This wave of operations drove the pilots of the pirate fleet crazy. On the other hand, Rui, like a super dancer dancing on a tightrope, the fighter jet is manipulated in his hands, coming and going freely. While attacking with a ballistic whip rain, he approached the opponent. Just as Shuang Fangyu is getting closer. Those pirate pilots were so scared that they thought the two sides would collide. Rui's fighter plane suddenly dived downward. The results did not wait for those pirate pilots to breathe a sigh of relief. It ran into a large pile of air-to-air missiles that followed Rui directly. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, the entire sky was lit up with a bright light. From time to time, there will be explosions one after another. Light up a group of fire. When more than 20 pure black pirate fighter jets rushed out of the fire group, 483. Qin Tian looked at the more than 20 red dots representing enemy fighter jets on the flat map, and immediately felt relieved and stopped paying attention. He knew that there must be nothing wrong with Rui. It's up to them now. But they are more or less here. At this moment, 2 of the 3 battleships of the enemy fleet had been sunk. Wait until the opponent's 3 battleships are destroyed. There is no suspense in this battle. And it is true. Following Dong Zhuang's control of the Genesis Y-21 anti-ship missile, he sank the enemy's last battleship. None of the other dozen or so cruisers could resist their attack. As long as Qin Tian passes in one must-hit round. Zula, Dong Zhuang and the others casually followed up with a few anti-ship missiles. The opponent's cruiser either sank with no blood or died directly. Anyway, it is definitely not enough to survive a round of attacks. And what made those pirate fleets even worse? Just when the Nemesis had just sunk 7 cruisers, Rui actually cleared all the pirate fighters in the sky. And flew directly over the pirate fleet. Started to use aviation cannons to cooperate with the Nemesis to clear the enemy's fleet. Come on, you are worthy of being an ace mechanic. This control technology is really amazing, it's almost 6 to fly. 1v48. The result ended with a complete victory for Rui. Fengshen's only shortcoming has also been made up. It is indeed completed. This is only the case of Rui's fighter jet. After Qin Shen breaks through into an aircraft carrier, the battleship is covered with hundreds of fighter jets, and then Rui will lead the fighter group. It is estimated that one face-to-face will almost kill the fighter group on the opposite side. When Rui will lead the team to fly out to destroy the enemy's warship, the enemy's god's chosen may not even see the shadow of our Qin god battleship, just directly was killed. So God Qin doesn't have to worry about air defense anymore, right? I'm going, brother, great talent. After your analysis, I suddenly found that Qin God can directly become a god in the world of warships. Already invincible, it's just that God Qin hasn't developed his own power yet. Once he holds the command of thousands of warships like the major forces, world of warships will probably be directly suppressed by God Qin of No More Wars. I look forward to that day coming soon. In that case, all the chosen ones of us humans can unite, accumulate strength, and wait to resist the invasion of the extraterrestrial forces. 1. In the studio, many people couldn't help but gasp in amazement when they saw this scene. This was the first time they saw Rui controlling a fighter plane to engage in air combat with others. As a result, the first show showed everyone's faces. Those who were sent undercover by some rich capitalists to live in Qin Tian's live broadcast room frowned after seeing this scene. Although he knew that this Rui who was favored by Qin Tian should be very good. But they never thought that the other party would be so awesome. How to fight this? In their view, those pirate pilots are NPCs. But I have to say that the strength and level of the opponent's fighter jets can be regarded as very good. But just like that, Rui gave him a 1v48. Then it is considered that the chosen one of their family breaks through the battleship to the aircraft carrier. But if there is no ace pilot who can match this Rui, then they are really not the chosen ones who are optimistic about their own family. This moment, many undercover agents of the family began to envy the undercover agents of the Moore family. Look at how prescient their senior management is. Since you can't beat it, then join. So, now face this situation. The undercover agents of the Moore family don't have to worry about their own pilots like they do. Suddenly, some of them came up with the idea of instigating the family to show kindness to Qin Tian like the Moore family. And in World of Warships, the entire battle on Qin Tian's side lasted only 15 minutes and ended without the escort of other warships and carrier-based fighter jets. The black aircraft carrier of the pirate force is a living target. Under the attacks of Rui and Nemesis, in turn, the blood volume of the black aircraft carrier was quickly cleared to 0, and it was full of aggrieved death. At this time, it is slowly sinking into the sea. But now Qin Tian has no time to pay attention to an aircraft carrier that he has defeated and is about to sink into the sea. At this moment, he is more concerned about whether there is a pirate base camp on the island. What about the Genesis-class objects that could equip his ships? Think here. Qin Tian immediately said to Zula, Old Zhu, connect Rui's communication, let him go to the island to see where the pirates' base camp is, tell him to pay attention when looking, and be careful of the opponent's anti-ship weapons. Yes, Zula responded when he heard the words. Then go back and do a quick operation. Rui was quickly contacted. After Zhu Le gave Qin Tian's order to the other party once. Ray didn't procrastinate either. After taking the order, he directly controlled the fighter plane and flew over the island to start inspection. That's when he checked out over the waterfalls of those wooded hills in the center of the island. 4 ship-to-air missiles suddenly flew out from the dense forest below. Then it flew towards his Genesis J-31 stealth fighter at an extremely fast speed. Rui's heart rang loudly. The hairs all over his body stood on end. 0.1. Can bring him this kind of death danger. 9 out of 10 of these 4 missiles are high-quality missiles with relatively explosive damage. At this time, it was too late to climb up the fighter plane again. So Rui abruptly overcame the subconscious movement of wanting to climb up the fighter plane. Immediately released the mythical AS-Man Star Decoy bullet. And turned the engine of the fighter plane to the maximum, and flew forward quickly regardless of his care. Boom boom boom. Just before his front foot flew out tens of meters away. The next 4 missiles hit the decoy bombs he threw. This scene made Qin Tian on the battleship, who had witnessed the whole scene, heaved a long sigh of relief. But then the anger in his heart rose. What a pirate force on a god-level treasure island. How dare you play tricks on him? Qin Tian immediately said to Zula in front of the center console, Zula, contact Rui for me. 67%. Chapter 337 Genesis Level Treasure Chest, Raid on the Pirate Base Camp. Seeing that the NPC pirates on this god-level treasure island are actually playing tricks, Qin Tian immediately became angry. Immediately asked Zula to contact Rui. It's so meow, it's too deceiving. This is Rui's fast response and good control skills. This is normal if you change the technology. Just that moment. I guess I have to lose a heroic crew member. And also lost a Genesis fighter. Careless. Unexpectedly, the other party actually placed anti-ship missiles in the central area of the island. Qin Tian really became more and more angry. And with Zhu Li's operation. Soon Rui's head with a helmet appeared on the screen. Captain, are you looking for me? Rui asked in a dull voice. Rui, do you have the exact coordinates of the enemy's missile launch just now? If so, give me the location. Qin Tian looked at Rui and spoke directly. Rui Wenyan was startled for a moment. Immediately, he realized that his captain was planning to bombard the enemy's position. Not a bad idea. Immediately said, I have records here. The directions are 57, 89 north, 10B, 61 west. Qin Tian nodded when he heard the words, and said, very well, leave the rest to us. Finished. Qin Tian asked Zhu Le to close the communication. Then he said, Old Zhu, Dong Zhuang, let me locate target 06 at the location Rui reported just now, and then carry out a 3-minute saturated attack on that area. Dare to use missiles to sneak attack, it will be no match for us like a missile. Hit it, let them see the power of our nemesis. Qin Tian said viciously. Yes, Long. Zhu Le and Dong Zhuang nodded in unison. They were also very angry in their hearts. Was shocked by the scene just now. You must know that Rui is currently the only air defense force of the fleet composed of their 2 warships. If it had crashed over the island with a bang just now, the loss to them would be enormous. Follow the 2 to locate and aim. After Qin Tian's order, naval guns, rocket launchers, and anti-ship missiles immediately started attacking wave after wave as if they didn't need money. They moved toward that area in unison. First there was a dull voice. Immediately afterwards, the area was bombarded with smoke and dust, and gravel and broken trees were splashed. After bombing like this for a full 3 minutes, Qin Tian asked Zhu Le to scan and image the coordinates. I saw it from the sky. The trees in that area seemed to have been forcibly dug out of a large piece of the forest. It looks very abrupt and conspicuous, because there is no shelter from the trees. From the image, you can clearly see the ground that was blown beyond recognition. There are ruins of some buildings and the wreckage of missile launchers. Some corpses that were blown up to pieces and half buried in the soil could also be vaguely seen. Let me go. Will this blow up the treasure chest containing the battleship enhancements? Qin Tian couldn't help trembling in his heart. Then he hurriedly opened the plain map of divine detective technique. When he saw that the treasure chest emitting colorful lights was still there, only then did he breathe a sigh of relief. They ordered Zhu Le and the others. Say into the port, the warship docks, and we are going to land on the island. Finished. He also continued to add, Old Zhu, Dong Zhuang, you should always pay attention to the situation on the island, and be careful of those pirates attacking the battleship. After giving orders to the two of them, he walked out of the control room. Gather Li Yao, Yan Jian and other fighters. Yan Jian, Gu Liang, you two stay on the battleship. You must defend it well. Don't let the pirates on the island board the Gatling heavy machine gun on it. You can use it. Qin Tian looked at the two and said seriously. Yes, Captain. Don't worry. We promise not to let those pirates get close to the battleship. Yan Jian said forcefully. Good. Qin Tian nodded, then looked at Li Yao and the others and said, You three, take your weapons and ammunition and follow me. We need to find a treasure chest on the island. Li Yao and her followers nodded. Check out the weapons and ammunition. After confirming that there was no problem, they all nodded to Qin Tian. Qin Tian didn't waste time either. He reached out and took out the Desert Eagle from the holster on his waist. Then wave. The four got off the battleship. He quickly rushed towards the center of the island. Because the location of the treasure chest shown on the plane map is in that area. As for why the treasure chest picker cannot automatically pick up the treasure chest to the battleship, Qin Tian speculates that it may be caused by the distance exceeding 20 kilometers. After all, his mythical treasure chest picker can only pick up treasure chests within 20 kilometers. The four of them ran all the way. The enhancement effect brought by King Level C Beast Meat is remarkable. Even if it's just running at a constant speed without much physical effort. All four of them ran a few minutes faster than the full speed of the global sprint champion. Running along the forest path all the way, they soon came to the open field that had been repeatedly plowed several times by naval guns and missiles. But judging from the location of the treasure chest on the plane map, this is obviously not the location of the pirate base camp entrenched on this island. Not here, on the mountain, let's go. Qin Tian spoke to the three of them. He continued to lead the way ahead. Came to the foot of the mountain hundreds of meters above sea level. The four of them could vaguely see a sunken cave on the mountainside. But at this moment, no figures were found above or around. Walk. Qin Tian gave a low drink. He took the lead and picked a small path and rushed out. Li Yao and the others followed closely behind. When you walk out of the path and come to the middle of the mountain, they discovered that this place turned out to be an excellent natural air raid shelter. From the middle of the mountain, it was as if a gap at a 45-degree angle had been split. The flat ground is just right for a family to settle down inside. There is no need to worry about dimensionality reduction blows from the sky. At this time, there were 10 or 20 pirates holding guns and defending back and forth. 207. One of them was holding a sniper rifle and was still aiming at the position of the road up the mountain. This made the Qin Tian secretly rejoice. Fortunately, I kept an eye out for climbing the path. At this time, he looked again at the location of the creation-level treasure chest on the flat map. Apparently in this natural bomb shelter. Qin Tian turned his head to look at Li Yao and the others. Asked in a low voice. Kill all the pirates inside, leaving no one behind, can it be done? Li Yao and the others calmly gestured an okay gesture to Qin Tian. Obviously, in the eyes of the three of them, this scene is nothing at all. Da da da. And at this moment, the sound of intensive machine gun fire suddenly sounded from the coast. Qin Tian's heart skipped a beat, and he and Li Yao looked at each other silently. They all heard it. This is the roar of the Gatling heavy machine gun. Sure enough, some of these pirates separated to forcefully board his two warships. Fortunately, I left Yan Jian and Gao Guoliang to defend. Coupled with the fire suppression of the Gatling heavy machine gun. Thinking about it, there shouldn't be any problems. And according to this situation, right now, the opponent's base camp is at a time when the defense is empty. It is also very good for their next actions. Li Yao obviously thought of this too. A smile appeared on the delicate and perfect white face. Then he waved to the two younger brothers. The three of them jumped out with their guns in their hands. 67%. Chapter 338 Return safely, the bold plan of the pirates. Li Yao first raised his gun and shot the sniper who was aiming at the road with a sniper rifle. Immediately afterwards, the three of them accurately knocked down the pirates in the cave one by one with one shot. Yan Bin held the sniper rifle in his arms and took the posture of a semi-automatic rifle. Almost never needs a scope to aim. Raise the gun and shoot. But the amazing thing is that the guns are able to hit. And it's all headshots. Facing the astonishing fighting power of the three uninvited guests, the surviving pirates turned pale with fright. They searched for cover to hide. And those who hid well and were glad that they escaped. In the blink of an eye, 1 or 2 howitzers from Li Yao were greeted. They were directly blown to death behind the bunker who were lucky a second ago. The three of them looked at 6 directions and listened to all directions. Whenever there are pirates who want to shoot, their bullets will be the first to kill them. And those who found cover and wanted to shoot, Li Yao would reward them with 1 or 2 howitzers in a timely manner. As for those who are still running in a panic, the three of them had a tacit understanding and no one wasted any time in killing them. Being able to observe such subtleties in such a chaotic scene, and cooperate so tacitly. The talents of S+ and A+ are indeed not in vain. Qin Tian looked at it and nodded secretly. 2 or 3 minutes later, the battle is over. Visible pirates were wiped out. And Zhang Zhengyi was also afraid that the death of those pirates was not thorough enough. Aiming at their heads with a gun, they made up one by one. Then the 4 of them walked inside cautiously all the way. When walking to the innermost part of the cave, I saw 5 wooden houses with a fair appearance built with wood. Li Yao took the lead and walked over with a gun in hand. Then he reached out and gestured to his 2 little brothers. Qin Tian saw the 3 of them standing in front of a wooden house, raised their guns and aimed at the wooden house in front of them. Fire! Following Li Yao's low shout, the 3 pulled the triggers of the guns in their hands instantly. In the sound of da-da-da gunshots, the 3 wooden houses were battered and riddled with holes in an instant. Not even a dead corner was left. Looking at this scene, Qin Tian couldn't help giving Li Yao a thumbs up. This hand is really beautiful. Greatly reduced the chance of everyone being attacked from inside. Because according to the display of the planar map, there is indeed an enemy hiding in one of the cabins. It's just that the red dot representing the enemy has disappeared now. Immediately afterwards, the 3 of Li Yao did not give the people in the other 2 wooden houses much time to react. Directly following the same pattern, the other 2 wooden houses were shot into sieves. And in the flat map, there is a room where the creation level treasure chest is placed. There are also 2 red dots inside. It's just not waiting for Qin Tian to remind. It was easily settled by Li Yao and the others. Zhang Zhengyi went up and kicked the door open. Then he rolled over lightly. After seeing the 2 corpses lying on the ground clearly. Only then did his tense nerves relax. Then he walked over and raised his gun and shot 2 bullets in the heads of the 2 corpses, and then he shouted to the outside, "Safe." So Li Yao and the 2 walked in protecting Qin Tian. As soon as Qin Tian came in, he saw the 2 corpses lying on the ground. Then in the corner next to the bed, a treasure chest with colorful lights is quietly placed. Looking at the man on the ground with an unshaven beard and a scar on his face, who was dressed a little higher than other pirates, Qin Wu guessed that this should be the leader of the pirates. Otherwise, the creation-level treasure chest would not be placed here. But now Qin Tian doesn't have the heart to study the other party's outfits. He lifted his foot over the 2 corpses, and came directly to the corner without even looking at them. He walked over and gently stroked the top cover of the creation-level treasure chest. With this, after returning, he can upgrade the battleship to the cold-hearted Nemesis aircraft carrier. The box was not opened. He pushed hard and pushed the creation-level treasure chest out of the corner. He said to the 3 of them, "Let's go, carry this box down the mountain, and after a while it will be taken back by the treasure box picker, our operation will be successfully completed." Although Qin Tian was very curious about the contents inside. But he didn't dare to open the box here now. He saw Zhang Zongjun send him a message and told him, "There are likely to be 4 items that equip the battleship. Not a drawing. In case there are such things as decks, naval guns, and gas turbines among these 4 items. Then he may cry. It is estimated that these 4 objects will not be able to be brought back to the battleship after being exhausted. Okay, Captain, Sister Yao, just leave it to the 2 of us." Yan Bin was talking with Zhang Zhengyi. Front and back, the 2 easily lifted the treasure chest. The 4 went down the mountain. After walking more than 10 miles in the forest, the treasure chest carried by Zhang Zhengyi and Yan Bin suddenly emitted a ray of light. It disappeared in an instant. This stunned the 2 people who were carrying the treasure chest. Somewhat blankly, he raised his head and looked at Qin Tian in front of him. "Don't worry, it should have been automatically taken back to the battleship by the treasure chest picker. Let's go back first." Seeing the worried little expressions of the 2 of them, Qin Tian didn't have any malicious intentions to scare them. After explaining to them, he took the lead and continued to move forward. And heard Qin Tian's words. Only then did the 2 feel relieved. Immediately followed Qin Tian and quickly returned to the port. As a result, it came out of the woods. I saw hundreds of dead bodies lying on the beach in the port. Even in the sea, there are 20 or 30 corpses floating up and down with the waves. Look at that dress. Obviously these are all the pirates on the island. In the sky, Rui's fighter planes were constantly circling. Escort the 4 Chin Tien below. And Zula, who had been paying attention to the situation on the shore, saw Chin Tien. Also start the battleship at the right time, and let the Nemesis approach the shore. Captain, Yan Jian and Gao Goliang also quickly came to the side of the battleship. When the battleship was more than 10 meters away from the shore, Chin Tien didn't intend to wait any longer. Lu Nuo took Li Yao and the others for a run up. He jumped onto the deck with ease. And Rui in the sky saw that his captain returned to the battleship smoothly. It is also to control the fighter plane to draw an arc in the sky. Immediately, it landed steadily back on the Phoenix. Captain, you are back. Yan Jian brought Gao Goliang to Chin Tien. There was an obvious sigh of relief on his face. Old Yan, what's the situation on the beach? Why are there so many dead pirates? Li Yao turned her head to look at the black corpse, and asked with a puzzled face. I don't know about it. I was also taken aback when all the opponents rushed out. Fortunately, there was a Gatling heavy machine gun, otherwise we would be really dangerous. At first, I was worried about the safety of you and the captain. There are so many pirates here. There must be more people left behind in the pirate stronghold. Fortunately, you came back safe and sound. Yan Jian said to Li Yao. 67%. Chapter 339 The Secret of the Double Attribute of the Aircraft Carrier, the Head Portrait of Qilin. Facing Yan Jian's words, Li Yao shook her head and said, it's really not true. When we went to the other party's base camp, there were only 20 or 30 people left there. Therefore, the other party has regarded the Nemesis as the main target. If you hadn't held back most of the enemies here, I'm afraid our operations there would not have been so smooth. Quote. I'll go. These pirates are really daring to send more than half of them to snatch our battleship. Zhang Zhengyi said with some sarcasm on his face. Although it is a bit risky, I have to admit that once they succeed, the benefits they will get are incalculable. Yan Bin approved of the opponent's strategy. Said in amazement. For this opinion, Chin Tien also nodded involuntarily. If it is an ordinary god's chosen. In the case of the crew's talent is not enough, the strength is average. It is really possible that the opponent's tricks will be successful. But it doesn't matter what you say now, anyway, we have won a big victory and completed this mission perfectly. Chin Tien smiled lightly. Then he walked to the bow of the ship. Because there, a creation-level treasure chest exuding colorful rays of light was placed quietly. Li Yao and the others also took steps to keep up. Ziba, another creation-level treasure chest. Chin Tien's luck must be too good, right? Indeed, in the past year, I might not have been able to see a creation-level treasure chest, but in less than half a year recently, Chin Tien alone has opened several of them, and even opened 2 of that Nangongal. No, this creation-level treasure chest should be tricky this time. I just came back from the live broadcast of Reese Duke of the Lighthouse Empire, and the other party also captured a god-level treasure island. Arrived at a creation-level treasure chest. Ah, do other god-level treasure islands also have creation-level treasure chests? Indeed, the navy of our empire on which the sun never sets also captured a god-level treasure island, and there is also a creation-level treasure chest on that island. Brothers, I have a gossip here. It is said that after occupying this god-level treasure island, the god chosen can find a creation-level object treasure chest containing the corresponding level of the current battleship from the center of the island. It seems that after using these objects, if you upgrade the battleship, all the attributes of the battleship will be doubled, but each battleship can only be used once. Oh my god, there is still such a saying. Doesn't that mean that this creation-level treasure chest is the treasure chest that contains those items? Ziba, no wonder. No wonder the leaders of those big forces could have been upgraded to aircraft carriers a year ago, but all of these bigwigs were reluctant to upgrade, which made us think that there were some special conditions, but the ultimate reason was that here, they want to maximize the benefits of the breakthrough. In the live broadcast room, everyone was guessing and discussing. Chin Tien had already grabbed the lid and opened the treasure chest. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the Genesis class saw deck attached template. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the attached template of the Genesis class saw turret. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the template attached to the Genesis class saw bridge. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the Genesis level saw power attachment template. Watch the treasure chest disappear. 4 2 square meter battleship objects appeared on the ground. Qin Tian's face is also full of curiosity. At first he thought it would be such a huge hull object. This is the result. These 4 objects are indeed templates. And the workmanship is super realistic. Whether it's decks, bridges or turrets and gas turbine cabins. All 4 templates come to life. If not too small. And Zion the battleship may be able to confuse the real with the fake. After Qin Tian thought about it. As soon as he used his thoughts, he used the divine detective technique to look at the power accessory template in front of his feet. Item. Genesis level saw power accessory template one-time item. Quality. Colorful. Efficacy. After use, special attributes can be attached to the gas turbine cabin of the battleship. When the battleship breaks through next time, the speed of the battleship will definitely be doubled. When Qin Tian saw this effect, I understood immediately. To put it bluntly, these 4 templates correspond to the blood volume, attack age, defense and speed of your warship. After using all 4 disposable templates, just in time for the battleship to break through into an aircraft carrier. Inspires the feature that guarantees a double boost for the next breakthrough. Then the attributes of the aircraft carrier become double attributes. Have to say there's really nothing wrong with that. Very reasonable. In order to determine your own thoughts, Qin Tian then used the divine detective technique on the turret template. Item. Genesis grade saw turret accessory template ultra rare. Quality. Colorful. Efficacy. After use, special attributes can be attached to all turrets. When the battleship breaks through next time, the attack value of all the battleship's weapons will definitely be doubled. Really? So that's it. The 4 attributes of his current battleship are higher. Wait a while to break through the aircraft carrier. The more benefits you get. Think here. Qin Tian immediately returned to his rest cabin. After finding the legendary ship figure blueprint from the room, he returned to the deck. Quickly walked to the bow position. Captain, are we going to upgrade the battleship into an aircraft carrier? Seeing Qin Tian walking in a hurry, Li Yao came behind her own captain and asked with some expectation. That's right, once I replace this figurehead with a new one, we'll be able to upgrade the aircraft carrier. Qin Tian said with a slightly raised mouth corner. After finishing speaking, he used that supernatural detective technique to look at the blueprint in his hand. Item. Blueprint of legendary captain figure. Quality. Orange. Production requirements. 15,000 ordinary wood, 10,000 ordinary metal sheets, 8,000 ordinary nails, 100 elite sea beast teeth. Efficacy. The statue that can be fixed on the bow of the ship is the symbol of your ship, and it is also the totem of your ship. Installing it may bring you unexpected good luck. High quality goods advanced. Ordinary wood 40,000, ordinary metal sheet 30,000, ordinary nails 20,000, top quality sea beast teeth 100, advanced red mythical figurehead, can increase 500 points of attack, 2,000 points of blood, 200 points of defense can be advanced. Advanced advancement. 30,000 high quality wood, 20,000 high quality metal sheets, 20,000 high quality nails, 200 top quality sea animal teeth, advanced 7-color creation level ship figure, which can increase 2,000 points of attack, 5,000 points of blood, and 500 points of defense available to enter step. Hiss. After seeing the attributes of this creation class head portrait, Qin Tian chose advanced without hesitation. Although it consumes a lot of materials. But this attribute bonus is definitely worth the money. The production of the Genesis class figurehead requires 30,000 high-quality wood, 20,000 high-quality metal sheets, 20,000 high-quality nails, and 200 top-quality sea animal teeth. Do you want to manufacture it? Manufacture. Face the reminder of the will of the planet. Qin Tian directly nodded to confirm, with the drawings in his hand disappearing. Soon there was a golden Qilin head portrait on the deck. 67%. Chapter 340 Upgrade the Nemesis aircraft carrier, suggested by Brick. Looking at the mighty and handsome Qilin head portrait on the deck. Without further ado, Qin Tian directly removed the legendary Pixiu ship head statue. Then put the statue of Qilin's head on it. After loading, he used detective skill to investigate the Qilin ship head portrait. Item. Genesis class Qilin ship portrait. Quality. Colorful. Ix. 2,000. Health volume. 5,000. Defense. 500. Efficacy. The statue that can be fixed on the bow of the ship is the symbol of your ship, and it is also the totem of your ship. Installing it may bring you unexpected good luck. After seeing that the figurehead has been installed, Qin Tian immediately took out the blueprint of the creation class aircraft carrier Nemesis that made him a super baby. With a thought, he used the blueprint in his hand. Ding! The blueprint for the Genesis-class aircraft carrier Nemesis has been selected. When the battleship breaks through the aircraft carrier, it will be automatically transformed into the Nemesis template. After getting this prompt in my mind, Qin Tian was determined. Immediately, he used the divine detective technique to look at the battleship under his feet. In the end, he fixed his gaze on the last advanced. May I ask if the captain consumes 3.1 million high-quality wood, 3.3 million and 300,000 high-quality plastics, 2.6 million high-quality nails, and 2.8 million high-quality metal sheets to advanced large-scale battleships? Yes. Facing the query of the will of the planet, Qin Tian took a deep breath and nodded for confirmation. Ding! It is detected that the battleship is breaking through the aircraft carrier, and has chosen to consume the self-modified blueprint of the Genesis-class aircraft carrier Nemesis for transformation. The consumption is successful, and the transformation begins. With the blueprint in hand disappeared, the entire battleship also began to be shrouded in golden light. See this scene. Don't talk about the crew of Liao on the battleship. Just the hundreds of millions of viewers in the live broadcast room were too excited. Axie, let's start. This Qin Tian's battleship is about to break through into an aircraft carrier. An aircraft carrier with double attributes, how powerful is that? Fake, what is there to be afraid of? He just broke through alone, and our Eurasian Federation has more than a dozen major forces attacking the God-level treasure island, which means we will have more than a dozen aircraft carriers with double attributes. God's chosen one comes out, and when the time comes to pile up the quantity, it can also kill that Rui. The above is right. Believe in yourself. Although our God chosen is not as skilled as Qin Tian's pilot, but we can get hundreds of thousands of fighter jets together with more than 10 double genus ships. I don't believe that I can't beat him as a fighter. Oh my God, you guys, I hope you can see the reality, okay? Don't forget that ordinary advanced aircraft carriers rarely have weapon slots, so carrier-based fighter jets are the main weapon of the aircraft carrier, so the problem is now, there is no weapon slot, and our aircraft carrier has no missiles and naval guns, so what is the use of the double-value attack attribute? After all, the attribute panel of fighter jets is independent and not linked to the aircraft carrier. After Qin Tian upgrades the battleship to an aircraft carrier, the opponent will definitely vigorously develop carrier-based fighter jets. Originally, the opponent has the special aircraft carrier Phoenix. If his own Nemesis breaks through into an aircraft carrier, it will be at least a formation of more than 100 fighter jets at the beginning. You are not afraid of a Rui, but if the other party leads more than 100 high-quality fighter jets, can you still be so confident? So don't do it, and live well, isn't it good? Seeing this person expose the cruel truth with bare hands, many people in the Eurasian Federation were all sunk. At this moment, those Gentiles who had already begun to lean towards great unity spoke out one after another. That's right, whether it's the present world or world of warships, we are all facing the threat of powerful alien creatures. I don't understand what those high-level people are thinking. Why do they still have internal medicine? Yes, those high-level executives whose brains have been soaked in water, wake up quickly. I have no objection to you suppressing the Yanlong Empire before, because the opponent was isolated, and the decline of the national fortune led to fewer and fewer gods chosen who awakened high-level talents. We have there is a greater possibility of victory, but now this big eastern country has clearly awakened again, and you are still going your own way to suppress and confront. Isn't this just a waste of our taxpayers' money? Reject the civil war and help the Yanlong Empire repel the blockade of alien creatures. We should take the initiative to show kindness to the other party, so as to make up for the damage we caused to the other party before. Many foreigners who advocated unity asked their own empire to extend a helping hand to the Yanlong Empire, and wiped out all the alien army that blocked the surrounding area of the Yanlong Empire. For these claims, the high-level leaders of those foreign countries are extremely speechless. A bunch of brainless guys. Does the Yanlong Empire still need to worry about those alien creatures? 0. Seeking flowers. Just let Mu Ningxie release the battleship in the imprint. It is estimated that the blockade of those alien creatures can cause heavy casualties in minutes. And why don't people do it? Isn't it just to use this layer of free protective cover to isolate them? Tell them these foreign countries that the current Yanlong Empire is not going to participate in any international disputes, and tell them not to provoke them. So now tell them if they want to help. It's a matter of whether people are willing to let them help. However, this situation should not last long. Recently, those alien creatures seem to have noticed the huge threat of Mu Ningxie. According to the news sent back by the intelligence department, Those alien creatures that originally besieged the Yanlong Empire are gradually transferring to the Sakura Empire. Point 0. Obviously, those extraterrestrial creatures also realize that instead of risking their lives to be dragged in the Yanlong Empire, it would be time-consuming and laborious to achieve nothing. It's better to go to the Sakura Empire, a country with little resistance, to plunder a wave of bioenergy. Facing these circumstances, the top leaders of all countries know what this means. Maybe not for long. The small island country of Sakura Country is about to become history. In fact, recently, the top executives of the Sakura Empire have indeed appealed to the world to save them. He even kidnapped the Yanlong Empire morally. Let the Yanlong Empire launch a full-scale attack on the defense line of alien creatures. In this way, the army of alien creatures that invaded the Sakura Empire will be attracted away. The reason given by the other party is also very strange. As a country that has existed for more than 2,000 years, it is the only developed country in the Eastern countries. The Sakura Empire believes that it has made an indelible contribution to the progress of the world, so all countries in the world should protect them from being destroyed. The Yanlong Empire must launch a full-scale attack on the defense line of alien creatures in order to relieve the crisis of their Sakura Empire. Remarks about this cerebral palsy. All the people of the Yanlong Empire raised their middle fingers in disdain. It means that the little devil is dreaming. But there are some bricks who actually recognized it. They believed that the Yanlong Empire was a great country and a state of etiquette. In the spirit of humanitarianism, the Yanlong Empire should indeed extend a helping hand to the Cherry Blossom Empire. And it is suggested that the military department prepare for war and launch a full-scale war against the alien defense line that besieged the Yanlong Empire. Defense line that besieged the Yanlong Empire. Defense line that